The Patriots, Bruins, the Celtics, WBBM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group station celebrating 65 years of broadcasting.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots in Seattle will practice today on the West Coast after a player's day off. They'll face each other in Super Bowl 60 this coming Sunday night out in Santa Clara, California. Last night, the NFC beat the AFC in the Flag Football Pro Bowl game 66-52. Celtics won a game and made a trade yesterday. Last night, they overcame 36 points from Cooper Flagg to beat the Mavericks 110-100 in Dallas. Eastern Conference Player of the Month, Jaylen Brown, had 33 points and 11 rebounds to lead the Green. They'll play again tonight in Houston. Grandy and Max had the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 over on 105.7 WROR. Earlier yesterday, the Celtics traded Anthony Simons and a second-round draft pick to Chicago in exchange for 35-year-old big man Nikola Vucevic and a second. Peyton Pritchard will miss the team's sixth man.
Oh, I love him. When you build a bond with your teammates, it's tough to see them leave. Like, the Al Horford, the Drew Holiday, Luke, KP, now Anthony. Like, you definitely miss them, but it's part of the business. So you wish them well, and then when you see them, you gotta go at them.
The NBA trade deadline isn't until tomorrow, but a lot went on yesterday. Last night, the Clippers sent James Harden to Cleveland for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. Memphis traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah in an 8-player deal, and Detroit sent Jaden Ivey to the Bulls and got back Kevin Huerter from Chicago in a 3-team trade. Bruins play their final game before the Winter Olympic break tonight in Florida against the Panthers. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jonas Korpisalo added to Team Finland yesterday as an injury replacement. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti, who remembers when Seattle had second and goal from the 1 and decided to throw for a comeback that actually works. Call Leonard Hair Transplant Associates at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
This is what happens when analysts take over the games, take over the sport.
This is where you talk sports.
It happens all the time.
The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
You might hate me, but you're listening.
and Hardy
Don't bother me. I'm at the Pickle Palace.
on 98.5.
I know what I'm capable of.
He said something about peanut butter, right?
Yeah. Boning, baby. Make America nut again.
That's gross. That's disgusting.
Let's talk about cheese.
What are you going to have for lunch?
I was at dinner with my wife and a friend.
Kitty, kitty, pussy, kitty, kitty, kitty. Flap, flap, flap.
Shut up, I'm trying to talk to Paul.
Toucher and Hardy
Good luck trying to put your finger in it when there's a million holes.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
It's wrong.
Oh, okay.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tire Studios.
Oh,
That's right, Eddie Trunk. 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube.
yeah, it was awesome.
Right. If you would like to hear the show in its entirety, you can download it anywhere you download podcasts. Hardy is doing a brief segment in the 6 o'clock hour during this week in front of the Super Bowl with Joe Murray.
Did you hear that last night?
I did. My daughter had a game in Waltham at Waltham High with the new Waltham High, which is 2 years old. It's got a parking garage and it's got a field on top of the parking garage.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I remember the old one. That was falling down.
Yeah,
so.
it was not nice.
No.
And, my son used to play baseball there, and it was a dump. And
Yeah.
now it's like this incredible facility.
I can't conceive of what the high schools are like now when they build them. I mean, it's like compared to what our high schools were like.
Yeah.
But which looked and felt like prisons.
My high school, when I went to North Farmington, they had redone it. So it was not at all. I mean, this was, 89 to 93. So this was a long time ago now. But it wasn't like a total dump. When I was a little kid and I told you about that high school, they had the mural of the Led Zeppelin and all that stuff. Like in like a big Votech part, and like it was a dump.
Oh, my God. Did you really? My high school had a huge mural of the drummer, Bonham. And, of course, nobody that I went to high school with was
Your
around.
high school had a mural of Gene Krupa.
What?
It was Scott Joplin, I think.
Maple Leaf Rag, kid.
It was very controversial because of
But, I mean,
Now the muskrat rag.
You had one kid who was into it and felt it and drew a mural while I was there. Like, you weren't around when this guy was actually playing. What? He's like, oh, no, I love the music. All
well,
right,
we've actually talked about this before. I knew that. You've told me that before. When I was like a little kid, I didn't have any siblings, so I didn't know what was going on, and I would just see like the Heschers at that school. I mean, when I was a little kid, it was like the early to mid '80s, so you can only imagine what was going on there, like with like the jean jackets and everything else. And I had never been in the school before. My dog got in the school. Like my dog ran in the school. And I had to go into the school to get the dog, and I was like petrified. I don't even think it was during the school day. But I was like petrified because, the big like Hesher kids were in there. And I went in and I saw that mural. And then for years and years and years, I thought that I had made that up in my mind. Like that I had just invented that. And then I saw it. Like it was still there. Like even though when they redid the school, that mural was still there. But I did hear you, Hardy, last night. And okay, so was Joe saying, did Joe ask you the question if Seattle had a better musical history than Boston, and then you guys agreed that Seattle had the best musical history of any city in the history of music?
If you're going up against city for city, now, I mean, I said New York and LA are the obvious answers, but if you listen to the entire segment, I would say, I said both of those cities had people kind of come there and then go out of there. So I don't know that I really give New York and LA credit for breeding the bands, LA especially. People go to LA, they form a band, and then it's like, from Los Angeles. Are they really?
Well, like the Eagles aren't from Los Angeles, but a lot of those people are from Los Angeles. But New York, first of all, Seattle before grunge, I mean, you have to be very grunge heavy with that, is Hart and Jimi Hendrix. If you have to look it up, it doesn't count.
I am looking it up.
But then it doesn't count. You have to be able to do it off the top of your head. New York, by far, is the most important music scene by a million. And it counts if you went to college there. You don't have to be born in the city.
This is your Lou Reed fascination coming through once again. You just
I do love
him.
I do love the Velvet Underground. I can't stop listening to them. And by the way, so this isn't just rock music. Your hometown is a gigantically bigger musically. Just if you took Motown and just used Motown, that in itself is far greater than anything Seattle did. I understand in the 90s, Seattle had a far bigger music scene there's no question about it, the biggest music scene in the country, in the world. But I mean, your own hometown is because you said Chicago, and I don't doubt Chicago because I know you were thinking Smashing Pumpkins. And Alkaline Trio you were obviously thinking as well.
Yes.
But
mostly Urge Overkill and Veruca Salt, but yeah.
But in terms of influential, because I could even give you LA because LA was so influenced by New York. Like everything that happened in New York, it took 5 years to get to LA. Like in LA's indigenous music is like that garbage 70s and 60s folk music. So but that even was stolen from Dylan. But your own hometown has a far deeper and greater music scene.
I would say post Motown, though. I mean, that's the high watermark for Detroit music, and it's a hell of a high watermark that maybe is unmatched. But post Motown, it falls.
Does rap count?
Sure.
Punk should count. I mean, if you're going to talk about Detroit, you got to talk about proto-punk bands like Death and the MC5.
Well, I knew you were going to go Death, but Iggy Pop and MC5 were very influential bands, but they weren't hit bands. But yes, Detroit arguably invented there are people that argue that Detroit invented punk rock music, but that is a good point. But I mean, Sir Mix-a-Lot and Macklemore are the only two rappers I can think that came out of Seattle. And
but you just named two of the kings.
Absolutely. But I mean, like, I understand like the rock scene in Detroit, like post 1980, even though you're not giving the Romantics their due, it is underwhelming. But if you count rap in Motown, I mean, if you were saying like 90 on, and then I could still say Detroit because of Eminem and
White Stripes,
and White Stripes and
Sponge.
Danny Brown and Sponge, of course.
Would you count Verve Pipe in the Detroit scene, or are they more mid-Michigan?
Oh, I mean, you had that whole. I would keep Lansing a whole scene of its own because you had that whole Lansing punk scene, which is what was the name of that magazine that came out of there? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
There was like a really influential punk magazine that came out, zine that came out of, with like a real crazy guy that made it. I can't think. Touch and Go, something like that. Anyway, I expected it from Joe because Joe is very ingrained in Alice in Chains, which is a band I like too, but you're talking about... And then when he said Boston, I was like, of course Seattle's bigger than Boston, because I'm listening to the Joe Perry book right now, and he's talking about... And he said... And then Barth chimes in, which I don't care for about this. And then he's like, Aerosmith aren't from Boston. And then he looks up Steven Tyler... But they're obviously from Boston.
Yeah,
they formed in Boston.
Huge. Yeah.
They formed. I mean, Perry met Steven Tyler in New Hampshire, but they formed and built their band in Boston. Yes. They got representation in Boston. They performed their first live gigs in Boston and New Hampshire, but they're a Boston band.
Famous for practicing in an apartment on Commonwealth Avenue. I remember that.
I think it's 1075 Commonwealth Avenue.
You might be right about that.
You have to remember,
that might be our address.
That's our address.
And part of it is, who you're talking to and the audience. And in this case, the audience is Barth and Joe Murray.
Yeah, Barth needed to shut up.
And if you just say Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Foo Fighters, everything that's
Foo Fighters aren't a Seattle band, though.
But
they're an LA band.
Spawned from the Seattle scene.
No.
The Seattle tree.
Everyone in that band, Pat Smear, the other guitar player is in a punk LA band. Pat Smear was in the Germs.
Where's Shiflett from? Where's Shiflett from?
He's a California. The Shiflett brothers
Shiflett.
are California.
Yeah, the Shiflett brothers are from California.
Chris and Scott Shiflett are California guys.
But my point is this.
And he's from D.C., Dave Grohl.
Right.
So
Seattle had a higher peak than any other city at its peak, but you could argue that
Detroit did. Detroit had as high a peak. We weren't around. Like
I wasn't born yet. What do you want from me?
Exactly. Yeah. And strangely enough, neither was I, but I am aware of it. You have to.
I completely forgot Motown.
Right. Yeah. So Motown was as big as grunge.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was bigger or what.
No, but Motown was like British Invasion Motown, like that echelon.
It's the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder. I mean, on and on and on and on. I mean, it's these Aretha Franklin. I mean, it's this gigantic. It's undeniable. I mean,
but give Joe credit for at least bringing up the fact that if you just compare like all the cities in the U.S. to the U.K., that's a conversation. Like, I don't know who can claim the bigger scene. Is it New York, L.A., Chicago, Detroit, Seattle, or is it the U.K.?
Can I tell you something? What music originated from the U.K.? Or what? Because all of that music was stolen.
It all comes from Robert Johnson. Do you have the box set? I could loan it to you.
Thank you. But the Rolling Stones and the Beatles' first albums were just covers of American blues songs.
They were just doing Chuck Berry imitations.
The Sex Pistols were influenced by the Ramones. Johnny Ron denies it, but I mean Malcolm McLaren and the New York Dolls.
Yep.
So now listen, the bands out of the UK are gigantic. but the Beatles and the Stones and the Sex Pistols were all derivative of American-based music.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that I bleed red, white, and blue, but the UK has,
but if you perfect it, but
or if you sanitize it enough and make it white, if you whitewash it, then yes.
whatever it takes, the Meucci may have invented the telephone in Italy, but it took Alexander Graham Bell to make the iPhone. So who gets the credit?
That's true. But I did, and then Barth, but Barth, he chimed in and he said that Aerosmith weren't a Boston band. And
Well, that was after I hung up.
No, that was after you hung up. I didn't care for that. Because he's like, why are you even talking? Just because Steven Tyler is from New York doesn't mean that he was living in New Hampshire, befriended Joe Perry. Joe Perry asked him to join the band. He moved down to Boston. They didn't have a record deal. They didn't have representation. And then they worked their way through here. They got local management and worked their way. They got screwed by their management, but nonetheless. But I did think that was an interesting conversation. And I'm glad my name came up. It did come up.
Who brought it up? Did I bring it up? I know
No,
that
Joe brought it up.
Joe said that, yeah, you would be.
And then you said I would be too tough on Boston, which I appreciated. Not the greatest music scene in Boston.
No,
Holy smokes!
Some really, really good bands, but when you compare them not only to other cities, but just I think the influence factor has a lot to do with it. And who was influenced by bands that came out of Boston? Really good bands came out of Boston, but were they vanguards? Other than the Dresden Dolls, of course.
Of course. That's right, the Dresden Dolls. Lead singers from my hometown.
It was
Let's
too.
hear it.
Well, and the other thing is, it was
Amanda Palmer?
Yes.
Insufferable.
So you've told me in the past. I never met her. Went to the same high school.
It's too close to New York. That's the thing. Is that it's too close to New York. Is that you almost had to. Why wouldn't you just move to New York? Like you're stuck in Seattle. You're stuck in Detroit. Like Chicago's a huge city, but I mean, if the music industry is all located 200 miles away from you, you just moved to New York.
You know what's interesting, Hardy? Well, just hours before you were having that conversation with Joe Murray, I was having a conversation with a writer from Boston Magazine talking about the Boston music scene. It's going to come out in their Spring Arts Edition.
The current day Boston music
just
scene?
the history of the Boston music scene.
Wow.
and
I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, it should be an interesting piece.
It's about time someone did that.
Yeah, big tease. A lot of these bands are still that were big in that kind of peak era.
Yeah, till Tuesday they knocked it out of the park. We did that.
To have them play.
We did that Rumble, the BCN Rumble
That's
for
right.
50 years, and the only band that ever came out was Till Tuesday.
Peeping.
And they had one hit.
They played acoustic on the.
How did they do that for so long and only had one band that anyone's ever heard of come out of it? They might have done it. I'm not joking. They might have done the BCN Royal Rumble.
It was such a big
for
deal, too.
40 years.
It really was a big deal for a while.
And one band has come out of that.
And it's still, I mean, they took last year out, but it still happens every spring. I don't know if it's going to happen this spring.
12.
Yeah.
Didn't other bands compete in it and not win and come out?
Yes, absolutely.
I gotta believe at some point someone from the Breeders or the Lemonheads or friggin' Buffalo Tom or somebody was in the Rumble.
I could dig in and
Are the Pixies considered a Boston band?
Yeah, they are.
Because they college.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like it's same with Dinosaur Jr. We're both Western Massachusetts bands, but you know.
Right.
Well, Stained,
you know.
No.
Godsmack.
Yeah.
No. Stained aren't a Boston band. They didn't come up in the Boston scene.
They're an American band.
Well, they're from far away. They're from Massachusetts.
Yes, they are.
Wow.
It started as a Tool cover band.
Don't you have to be kind of like in a scene, like a local
Well, that was
scene?
always the knock on them in Godsmack. It's like, wait, these bands are, because they were sold when they got signed by their major labels. I think they were both on Elektra, actually. I know Stained was. It was like, oh, these were Boston bands. And everyone from Boston was like, I've literally never heard of this band.
Yeah, so I don't know if those count as Boston bands.
No.
It's an interesting discussion, though. But just Seattle, that is recency bias. And then if you think about it, what's come out of Seattle since the 90s.
But the last big movement in rock and roll that doesn't make people
that might be ever
that doesn't make people cringe or want to forget about was from Seattle. There hasn't been anything with any staying power since then.
I just wonder if there will ever be like a localized movement like that again. No, the most recent rock movement of like great importance was obviously Seattle. Like, no denying that.
No.
And Seattle was the biggest music town of the 90s in rock music, no question. But I mean, like, hip-hop was invented in New York. All those jazz guys out of New York, all those, like, the rock bands that influenced everything, including the Velvet Underground, who everyone loves. Velvet Underground are better than Sonic Youth by a lot. I'll tell you that. Sonic Youth in New York,
Daydream Nation.
Anything's better than Sonic Youth.
It's one of my favorite lines you've ever said, Fred. It was one of the first things that we said on the radio, and you would say to everyone, people own Sonic Youth records, but they never listen to them. It was along those lines, and I was like, that's a really actually accurate.
No one vacuums the carpets listening to Sonic Youth. No. Be Real says Omaha. He wants to put a vote in for Omaha because he's a big 311 guy.
Well, that, and would you count Matthew Sweet in the Omaha scene? I mean, he's Lincoln, but...
A listener sent me a clip of Nick Hexum doing, like, bluegrass now. I guess he's, like...
Sure, why not? Try it on. Try it on.
Do a hillbilly accent.
Reggae is, I suppose.
Try it on for size. Sure. Why not? Just float between genres. Whatever seems convenient at the time. There you go. So that is taking something from the Patriots show that is on from 6 to 7 all week.
Kendra and I actually just randomly, I had not heard what she had picked. She and I have two of the same props.
I heard that
we like this week.
I heard that. You were very kind to Kendra on that show. All right. We will be back in just a moment. We will catch you up on all these sports actions, including trades and games and everything else in just a moment.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey-o. We are Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what happened last night in the world of athletics?
Well, we're going to get to all the trades and stuff, but there was a game that we should cover first, and that was the Boston Celtics in Dallas. By the way, anyone else turn on the game last night and notice that it was very blue? Is it something going on in the arena there in Dallas where it's just the lights look blue, or is it the
lack of
blue
morals in this society? Everyone's working blue.
Well, I know
Everybody's just sad.
I also know it's a very liberal state, Texas, so maybe it's just got a blue hue to it.
Sure.
Which I don't care for. I don't like them blue states.
Yeah, save it for your halftime show, Super Bowl.
Yeah, thank you.
When you get that Puerto Rican guy in there talking all kinds of who knows what in that crazy language. I don't know what you're telling those people to do, but I don't like it.
All right.
That's probably some call to arms. For all I know.
Revolution. Now, the last night Celtics were in Dallas taking on Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks. Cooper Flagg, yeah. No chance, kid. 12 with the boards. Jesus, that's 2.
Jaylen Brown against Nazi Marshall. Steps to his left, launches the three. Got it. Oh, Jalen's feeling it. Timeout, Jason Kidd.
Boy, you know, all he needs is somebody else in front of him. It just fires him up. So Cooper Flagg, everybody talks about him, but hey, this is the Celtics. I'm Jaylen Brown.
That's right. By the way, Cooper Flagg had a night. The first teenager with 3 consecutive 30-point games 5 nights after he set the NBA scoring record for the under-20 group with 49 against Charlotte. So he's been on a bit of a heater.
Fourth quarter, Celtics are up 23, and the Dallas offense was clear one side of the floor and let this kid go. He just turned 19 years old last month.
Yeah.
And he was drawing, Fred, they were running 3 guys at him, serious amount of contact, like stuff they wouldn't call. They didn't call much last night. Flagg was able to finish through everything, 36 points, and if he had anyone to help him, it would have been more. But there's nobody out there that can help him in Dallas with Kyrie and Davis out.
No, and there's nothing he can do by himself when you got to go up against the likes of Jaylen Brown and, Peyton Pritchard.
Peyton Pritchard.
Brown wants this ball back.
He does. Pritchard instead. Going to drive, get to the dotted line. 12-footer is good to beat the buzzer. Wow. Peyton says, you've done enough, big guy. I got this one.
Brown was like, give him the ball, give him the ball. Good pick, separation, jump shot from 5 feet away.
I mean, it was a nice team effort last night. Luka Garza went off with the 3-pointers in the second half.
Pritchard, left-hand dribble drive, past Cooper Flagg, kick out, open again. Garza 3, got another one. It's a hat trick for Luka Garza.
Oh, man, you talking about standing there and spitting in the well.
And the Boston lead is back to 15 after Dallas cut it to 6 early in the quarter.
I have no idea what that means.
It means
Matt just said.
You can't figure that out?
Spitting in the whale?
Well.
Oh.
Yeah, it means that the hoop is the size of the well and the ball is the size of the spit.
That's on me. I honestly didn't put that together. Thank you very much.
That's it. Now that I know what he said, it's pretty obvious.
So Garza 4 for 4 spitting in the well. 4 for 4 from 3
point,
and he understands that his playing time is about to be drastically reduced. So it was bombs away last night.
He might not play again.
Yeah, it's I don't know why you would play him.
I mean, short of an injury,
right?
I don't know why they wouldn't play.
But the other interesting thing that came out of last night is Peyton Pritchard came off the bench last night. And we'll get to the Simons trade. He was the 6th man. You trade Simons. So who's the big scorer off the bench? Well, it was Pritchard last night, and once again, the Celtics were okay in the first quarter, and then Pritchard came in, and he scored 26. He looked like the guy that won 6th Man of the Year last year. So maybe that's kind of a peek into what Missoula has in mind based on the trade, which they made yesterday.
The trade they did, Anthony Simons and Vucevic. Vucevic from Chicago coming over. Chris Forsberg has something on his diversity. as an offensive player.
I think Vucevic, even at 35 years old, is...
He said Vus.
I know, but there were a lot of people that went to great pains to say it's not the way you say it.
That's the way I'm going to say it.
All right, go
John
right ahead.
calls the games.
Right ahead.
I think Vucevic, even at 35 years old, is a guy who can come in. He's going to be a diverse offensive player, shot over 40% beyond the three-point arc last season, can play in the roll, hit the little floater, the teardrop, and give you another offensive weapon for a team that already is flirting with the top spot in the NBA in offensive rating.
Now, this guy has averaged a double-double for 9 years in a row and shoots about 38% from three. He's a little off this year. He's 35 years old. He's past the peak of the mountain. He's on the way down, but he's really good. He's gonna be a big help
and can rebound.
Yes.
But on the other hand, you are losing someone who would carry you offensively during times where Jaylen Brown didn't have it or wasn't around.
Which is why I think Joe Mazzulla is going to put Pritchard on the bench to help with that. I mean, Simons is an explosive scorer. They're going to miss that, but you got a quick reminder of how explosive Pritchard can be sometimes. So maybe that's the play, and you play the current starting center, Neemias Queta, and Vucevic at the same time, and put Pritchard on the bench. That's one way you could go.
Well, Forsberg said it was obvious that Simon was the guy who had to go.
I think a lot of fans will, lament having to move on from Anthony Simons, who has been absolutely fantastic in recent weeks, who embraced trying to be a defensive player for this team and shed that reputation that he had in Portland. But ultimately, I think we knew, when you just look at the Celtics depth chart moving forward, it just felt like that Simons was one of the few contracts they could move off of, unless you were willing to move on from Sam Hauser to make a move to add an impact player. Simons was just naturally going to be the guy.
And he is the guy, and he is gone, and the Vucevic era begins in Boston.
Both guys on expiring contracts, so he is gone at the end of the year. And I was reading that apparently this is a genius move by Brad Stevens because he took in less salary than he sent out. So now the Celtics have slipped below that first luxury tax apron, which allows them to go sign a waiver guy, a buyout player to add. Stevens has one empty roster spot, so they can get more help if they don't make another trade before the deadline on the buyout market at the end of this month.
The other
That is ingenious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes all the sense in the world. I just hope that what John said earlier about this little trail off that we've seen from Vucevic and his three-point shooting doesn't continue. Hopefully, a little, be reinvigorated a little bit. It's not like he has to be much better than what he has been this season, but I just don't want to see more decline.
The most important thing is they don't have him signed for 2 or 3 more years to take him to age 36, 37, 38. It's just 1 year. It's this year. And they should. I mean, the drop off from last year to this year isn't a lot, but you can see it. I'm like, oh, okay, he's 35, he's 36, got a lot of miles on him, but this guy's been good for a real long time. So he's a guy that can really help you.
All right, Paul, go ahead.
So I flipped between Comcast and NBC last night because the picture on Comcast was god awful. It was dark and muted.
Thank you. But very blue, right?
Yeah. By the way, did you know the Westminster Dog Show is broadcast in 4K? Why can't the NBA do that?
Well, I mean, it's a matter of economics.
Yeah, I guess.
There's only one
dog show really rolls in the dough.
Well, there's only one Westminster Dog Show.
Have you gone to the trouble of flipping over to the 4K channel when it gives you that option that pops up on the screen?
I don't know if I've ever gotten that option.
Where I really notice it is golf. Turn on the golf tournament, like this available in 4K. Click this on your phone. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Wow. When it flips over from just regular high def to the 4K, you can tell.
It's like you're there.
I should be so lucky.
Yeah.
These early season tournaments are the big ones.
It's
the ones that count.
You know why? It's because of all the wild action. That's really where 4K shines.
Yeah. Just that you can see the blood.
It's like, when I know you might not be watching Live, but when DeChambeau, picks up the grass and tosses it and And when he's counseling with his caddy for 15 minutes.
When he consults his yardage book, you can read it. You can see the arrows for which way the grain is rolling in front of the green. Yeah, it's totally worth it. The big trade yesterday, though, the one that everyone's talking about, the one that we were talking about yesterday with James Harden and where he might end up. Well, the Clippers have traded Harden to the Cavaliers for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. Sham Charania weighing in on what Harden wanted.
James Harden had a mutual option in his contract that allowed both sides here in the lead up to the trade deadline, right? Next season is not guaranteed for James Harden. He had a small partial guarantee. Both sides got to discussing what is next long term, what happens next year with him. James Harden came to the consensus that he wants to be in a win now situation in a longer term future, wherever he's at.
By the way, the odds.
That's what I think of when I think of James Harden long term. You know, wherever he goes, he's going to be there for 10 years. So choose wisely, sir.
There's only one basketball, and he's playing with Donovan Mitchell. That should be fun.
By the way, their odds now to win the championship are better than the Pistons, the Celtics. They've moved. Mm-hmm. Apparently, I guess it must be because the public is like infatuated with James Harden comparatively.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of money just spent on Cavaliers, futures right now.
But I believe it's only Oklahoma City and Denver that have better odds or worse odds, whatever the term is, who are more likely in terms of Vegas to win the championship than Cleveland now. This edition of James Harden, who's 49 years old, is apparently and doesn't play defense. Is
got a proven track record of winning championships.
Yeah. I haven't heard anyone analyze this that likes the trade. I haven't heard anyone nationally analyze this. I'm sure there are people out there, but I don't know anyone. I haven't heard anyone that really thinks this puts Cleveland over the top.
I understand why they made the deal. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, his contract's coming up, and they want to keep him. They want to see if they can win. And they haven't been very good this year. They've been very mediocre, in fact, after dominating last season. So they went all in, and well, not all in, but they brought in a big gun to help out.
Shuffled things around.
Yeah.
I mean, the big talk is that LeBron James will play there next year, that he will end his career there. Apparently the Lakers don't want him. So maybe that will be where he ends up. And I guess if you're the Lakers, why would you want him?
They're going to ask him, the news last week was they're going to ask him to take a pay cut, which he will say no to, and then they'll get rid of him.
Well, the whole reason, other than it being a steal, the whole reason they made that Doncic trade was to get another star to replace LeBron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
I don't think they went LeBron and Doncic are going to be like this unstoppable team. I think that they made that deal saying, we're the Lakers. This puts us, we need to have a star. We always have a star, Kareem and Magic and Kobe and Shaq and so on and so forth. And now this will be our star for the next 10 years. So we can, we have Austin Reeves. And then once we get rid of LeBron, we'll have a bunch of money. And so, but if you're LeBron, he doesn't want to retire. You go back to Cleveland for one more year. End it in Cleveland. End it where it began. Is there a better basketball scene than Cleveland? I mean, that's what somebody you could really ask yourself. Do you count Akron?
LeBron playing well there. I mean, he led all scorers last night. Lakers beat the Nets in Brooklyn, and
very difficult to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very difficult to do.
I don't know how you get that done.
LeBron could have played lefty. They would have won by 25.
25, and he scored 25 last night. Didn't hit a three-pointer, but he's, again, to the idea of him playing again next year. He's not thinking about this as being his last.
I have not even thought to the point of like a farewell tour or whatever the case may be, because I haven't had the conversation with myself and my family on when is it over. So that's not even. I think that will come after that.
Yeah, you got to have the conversation with yourself. You got to put aside some time to think, because your brain's not in your head 24 hours a day. You got to put some time away to think.
Guys, I need to have a conversation with myself.
Yeah, and that's going to require, me,
getting with my people and setting something up.
Yeah, blocking out 4 hours to just sit And like, wouldn't you always be having that conversation with yourself, considering it's your brain?
No, you got to schedule it. The 2 o'clock Tuesday, have a think.
I just think that's funny. I haven't had a chance to think about it. Well, you're in your own brain. You've had all you have is time to think about it. You could be thinking about it right now. All right. We will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots will be back at practice this afternoon out at Stanford University as we all get ready for Super Bowl 60 this coming Sunday night in Santa Clara, California against Seattle. Celtics made a big trade yesterday. Anthony Simon sent to Chicago in exchange for their starting center, Nikola Vucevic. Celtics opened up a back-to-back in Texas with a 110-100 win in Dallas. Jaylen Brown, 33 points and 11 rebounds. He was also voted the Eastern Conference's Player of the Month for January. Celtics will be in Houston tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 over on 105.7 WROR. And the Bruins play their final game before the Winter Olympic break tonight in Florida. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the Bruins and Panthers pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jonas Korpisalo will play in the Winter Olympics for Team Finland. He was added yesterday as an injury replacement. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Corona. La Playa awaits this weekend as New England squares off against Seattle. Stock up on ice-cold Corona for your watch party and enjoy game day in the Corona Lime Zone where La Playa awaits for football's biggest fans. Must be 21. Relax responsibly. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
98.5 The Sports Hub is live all week from Radio Row in Santa Clara. Tune in all week to hear from the biggest names in sports as they join us from the IBEW 103 NECA Contractors Guest Chair. 125 years of powering Boston. Visit thepowerprofessionals.org.
Have you tried the Good Stuff yet? I'm talking about Good Stuff Smokehouse, New England's #1 authentic barbecue. This destination barbecue is going to keep you coming back again and again, from fall off the bone ribs, perfectly smoked burn ends, and all the fixings. You got to try the good stuff. Head to goodstuffsmokehouse.com to see the full menu.
Hey, it's Sean Flaherty, managing partner of Catches Law Group. New England, we're back. The Patriots are back in the big game, and you can feel it everywhere. The buzz, the hope, the belief. At Catches Law, we know what it means to show up for big moments. For more than 40 years, we've been part of this community, fighting for our neighbors, and proud to be the official law firm of the New England Patriots. Because loyalty, toughness, and showing up when it matters most, that's what great teams are built on. If you've been hurt on the job or dealing with years of wear and tear,
We're the best friends you can be, my buddy and me.
Now, more of your best morning buddies, Toucher and Hardy, on the Sports Hub.
Countdown to kickoff. 108 hours to go.
Hey, guess what? It's hump day. Let's be honest here. It's more like pump day because I'm so pumped for this Super Bowl. Heck yeah. I can hardly sit still. I got ants in my pants, and I'm ready to do the Super Bowl shuffle.
Nick is awful fired up.
Wow.
I hope people can relate to that. As we are counting down to, we're going to get within 100 hours of the Super Bowl.
We may have to do a special podcast just so we can play the outtakes of Nick's voice work in doing these.
Oh.
I mean, each one is about 15 seconds long. There are 4 for today. He sent me a 4.5-minute audio file yesterday because he just can't. I mean, you heard him stumble a couple of times here. That's the edited, cleaned up, using all types of wizardry just to get a coherent sentence or two out of him.
It was funny because you were talking to him after the show and you're like, just want to knock this out now. It should only take a couple minutes. And I went, oh, that's a fool's errand. I'm feeling it's going to take a lot more than that, my friend, to achieve what you're looking to achieve.
We didn't record. That was just the writer's room.
Oh, okay, that was the writer's room. Yeah. Well, it's good that you brought him in there. Teach him how it's done.
No, Nick doesn't need to be taught a damn thing. How dare you? He's instrumental in this process. But it is Super Bowl week, and yesterday Mike Vrabel was speaking and getting a chance to say hello to his friends.
Morning, Mike. Hey, buddy.
Stan Roach, as those two were, just getting a little chin wag going yesterday. But let's talk about what really matters. And Drake May. How did he look? How were things?
I mean, I think that he spoke for himself on how he feels. I can't determine how he feels. I know that practice yesterday was good for him and for everybody to get out there and get moving around. We appreciate everybody at Stanford for providing us the facility that we have, and so I think we got the week off to a great start.
So yesterday, no practice. They will practice again today. Getting ready, of course, for the game on Sunday.
We have duly designated representatives who watch practice. The media doesn't get to watch practice. There's one media representative at each practice.
Do we know who it is?
No, we do. I just don't have that name.
I think it's someone from The Athletic. I believe is that Mike Reese said that there's a pool reporter and it's a woman from The Athletic.
Okay.
Oh. All right.
I could be wrong. Doubtful, but I could be. I can't believe someone emailed in and said that if Drake May couldn't have thrown his usual amount on Monday, that it wasn't a problem. Not often, but sometimes it's just unbelievable. Your quarterback can't throw less than a week before the Super Bowl. Yes, that would be an issue.
After having a week off.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I'm not saying the guy couldn't play. I'm just saying that there would be a level of concern about him being able to play. If you can't throw on Monday, there's no guarantee you'd be able to throw on Tuesday. That's the thing, is that...
But he doesn't have to throw on Tuesday, so that's not a big deal. Wednesday is where I would start to get worried.
Sure. So just take... Tuesday doesn't exist.
Monday and Tuesday, yeah. I'm with those people. Oh, you couldn't throw on Monday? So what?
It's funny, the healing properties of the human body in reference to football seem to be now May's obviously not that bad, but this was a hypothetical. They had said that he had done his normal throwing routine on Monday, and I said, well, that wouldn't have been good if he couldn't. Then you don't know if he can play. And there was an argument. What are you talking about? Well, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If your job is to throw and you are limited in the amount you can throw against air, then that is an issue. That means that you can't throw the football, and that would be of the utmost concern to me.
Isn't it comforting to know that they're all out there still bubbling underneath the surface, just waiting?
Here's the thing that I don't understand.
Waiting to strike.
They've crawled up on the beach.
How can you be such a fan of sports and hold such an opinion, but not know the most rudimentary facts about the human body.
Well, yeah, I thought you were going to say like not know the first thing about the game of the sport. It's just common sense. If you're
rudimentary human body,
right?
If you throwing is a taxing on numerous parts of the body, namely the shoulder and the elbow,
and a sneaky big part of the game.
Especially, for a quarterback.
Oh yeah,
and if
they throw more than anyone.
If you cannot throw a ball, the week of when you are going to be required to throw the ball could be upwards of 30 times.
Oh, that's a lot.
They would probably like if he could, throw over 15 yards too. That's just a shot in the dark, and you got to put some umph into that.
I don't know that he's going to need to throw it more than 45 or 50 feet.
I would say this. Now, Mike McDonald is a defensive coach, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. If I'm under the impression, this kid has about half the arm strength he had the last time we saw him on tape, I might go, you know what? Let's not worry so much about downfield anymore.
Let's stack the box. What do you say?
I mean, Jesus Christ. It's just, forget it.
No, and you're right. The defense is a concern, and Vrabel knows it.
Well, we'll have to stay balanced. Our best games we're able to provide some semblance of run game, and we're able to kind of marry some of the play action passes. And I don't think in this league you want to turn things into a drop back passing game. That makes it really difficult. They're good up front. They play a lot of people. They're disruptive. They work well together with games. They don't give up many X plays, and I think that those numbers, whichever you're alluding to, isn't because they're not good tacklers. They're really good tacklers. It's just sometimes in the shell that they're in, some of the underneath coverage is a little bit deeper. But I think they're a very good tackling football team. And
that underneath coverage won't be deeper if May shows
going to sit on some routes there. Yeah.
I guess the problem, because the analysis of this game, it's the Super Bowl, so it's 2 weeks of analysis, and you'll hear people contradicting themselves and a bunch of other stuff. But I guess the thing about this defensive line is that it's pretty evenly. I don't know if this is a good thing. It was presented as a good thing, and I suppose you could take it either way. Is that it's even? They're about equally good in getting to the quarterback across the line. That they're not relying on like a Myles Garrett, which if I had Myles Garrett, I'd be more than happy with. If you can sack a quarterback 5 times in a game, I think I'm fine with that. But is that pressure can come from anywhere.
Well, it's good news for Will Campbell that there isn't a Will Anderson or a Myles Garrett that he has to deal with.
Well, it's funny. I could see you saying that, but the way it was presented is that it's really bad. This is Skarnecki actually said this, is that it's bad for Will Campbell because they can run stunts and stuff and they can move guys around, and that it will be really confusing. That if you have like a Myles Garrett, you know where he's coming from. That they run a bunch of stunts and they cross guys, and that it's going to be not only difficult for him, it's going to be confusing. So they're going to look to confuse Campbell in that left side of the offensive line, which is something I guess to look out for because all of these guys in theory can get to the quarterback. So in a way, it's worse. The way it was presented by Scott, you can read that in the Globe. Don't leave it up to me. All right, we will be back. We've had some fun with this Warriors thing. Everyone's talking about the Warriors. Mac Hollins is the man responsible for that. He has he doesn't wear shoes, which I don't give him credit for. I don't find that to be that big a deal. But he has a lot of things he wants to say. We've never got into it. Let's get to it next.
Morning, Mike.
Hey, buddy.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
In Seattle will hold practices this afternoon. Yesterday, Mike Vrabel had to give his daily update on Drake May and his sore shoulder.
I mean, I think that he spoke for himself on how he feels. I can't determine how he feels. I know that practice yesterday was good for him and for everybody to get out there and get moving around. We appreciate everybody at Stanford for providing us the facility that we have, and so I think we got the week off to a great start.
Last night, the NFL held its Pro Bowl flag football game. The NFC had a big second half. They beat the AFC 66-52. The NBA trade deadline is tomorrow. The Celtics beat the clock yesterday. They sent Anthony Simons and a second-round draft pick to Chicago in exchange for 35-year-old big man Nikola Vucevic and a second. Last night, the Celtics won in Dallas 110-100 on the first night of a back-to-back. Jaylen Brown, 33 points and 11 rebounds hours after being voted the Eastern Conference's Player of the Month for January. Cooper Flagg, 36 points for the Mavericks. Celtics are in Houston tonight. Grandy and Max had the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 on 105.7 WROR. The NBA trade deadline isn't until tomorrow, but three big trades yesterday. Clippers sent James Harden to Cleveland. Memphis traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah. And Detroit sent Jaden Ivey to the Bulls and got back Kevin Huerter from Chicago in a three-team deal with Minnesota. And the Bruins play their final game before the Winter Olympic break tonight in Florida against the Panthers. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jonas Korpisalo added to Team Finland yesterday as an injury replacement for the Winter Olympics. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the $14.99 Big Deal Meals at the $99, like the Juicy Chopped Sirloin. All Big Deal meals are now available all day, every day for just $14.99. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
The Patriots, the Seahawks, Super Bowl 60 will be heard here.
He's got the first down.
The home of the AFC champion New England Patriots, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
And we're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
But the Warriors come out and play. That's something that is the last huzzah. That rap song, they start with that.
How do you confuse Young Guns with Warriors?
I was thinking of rap songs that use that clip, and then I apologize.
Two
Warriors,
different genres.
They absolutely are. One is a Western, one is a hard-scrabbled film about gangs that wear tight leather vests and baseball outfits. Right. The Rock stole that and made a lot of money with that. But the Warriors, it's not very good. You don't feel the need to look at it. It's not a good movie. But, they've been doing this, and Mac Hollins showed up to the game in, was it in Denver, I guess?
Denver for the AFC Championship game.
Dressed as the Warriors because I guess they've been using it as a thing. But remember when the Patriots got Mac Hollins, there was this news clip about him.
When I asked Bills players about Mac Hollins, they all said the same thing.
Wobble, wobble.
I can't. That laugh that you wrote into the script. Ugh.
Is this the same guy who? Do you remember the first news clip we played about Mac
Yeah,
Hollins?
this is it.
This is the same guy.
This is
okay.
this is to take you back to March.
Okay.
But there's no way you're laughing to yourself. This is something that you wrote down. You're reading a script. It's ludicrous. That's my. If you're reading a script, don't go unless it's like you legitimately effed up or something made you laugh. Don't write in a chortle.
It's a good word.
There's nothing worse than that.
A word that should be used more often. Chortle.
And they do it. We play these clips all the time, and they do it all the time. That's
When I asked Bills players about Mac Hollins, they all said the same thing.
I love Mac. Mac's awesome. One of my favorite players. Honestly, probably one of my favorite people I've ever met. Golly.
And that's because, well...
Oh, boy.
He's a little remember different. To pause. You got to pause before you say that.
I don't care for this guy at all.
Odd duck.
That's because... Let's just say Yeah, no. He's a little different. He don't wear shoes.
And that's because, well, Mac's a little different.
Like every team I've been on, they're going to be like, who's the weirdest guy? They're going to say Mac.
I say interesting.
Yeah, it's not like a bad weird.
No, Aaron Hernandez would have been the weirdest guy. If he was on that Patriots team, I'd say Aaron Hernandez, based on what they said he talked about in the locker room.
I would use the word eccentric.
Might be the most eccentric guy, yeah. Weirdest, Aaron Hernandez. Based on what's come out since about what he would talk about in the locker room, I'm going to say that's the thing.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's Tarzan.
Yeah, and just like Tarzan, Mac doesn't wear shoes.
I think.
Okay, yeah. He doesn't wear shoes. That's what makes him so insane. He dares to walk outside sans footwear.
Mac's a little different.
All right. But Mac Hollins is a lot of fun. Everyone likes to have fun with Mac Hollins, and he was talking to the media, of course, because it's around the Super Bowl, Hardy, and he had some things to say.
Well, you started off by saying the Warriors was, not great and it doesn't hold up. Mac Hollins would disagree with you.
Did you watch the movie?
Oh, yeah, I had to watch it. Yeah, I'm a very detailed person, so I probably watched the movie too many times to make sure all the details are right in my outfit. Yeah, it's a very, the more you watch, it's kind of, I feel like a lot of the movies from back in the day were kind of like that. When you watch them again, you're like, oh, this is kind of creepy. Like, why did I watch this normally? But yeah, it's a very interesting movie.
Very interesting and very creepy.
No, it's not creepy at all. But what is
creepy.
Interesting?
The baseball Furies are a creepy gang. The Orphans are creepy.
Yeah, if you don't know the baseball people, they are mimes that wear baseball pinstriped uniforms and they carry baseball bats, to which I would suggest a gun. But the Warriors, Mac Hollins was dressed like this. We've talked about this. They wear like skimpy leather tight vests with no shirts on underneath.
Yeah.
And you might go, well, that's just lame. There's no way gangs dress like that. But indeed, those gangs in the Bronx, like the Savage Skulls and those kinds of gangs, they all wore those weird leather vests, and they would wear like headdresses and stuff. It was a very odd time for gangs in the Bronx area of New York.
But as we know, Mac Hollins is a little different. So he has, you go out to California. What do you like about California? Oh, you got the beaches. You got Disneyland. What's not to like? That's not what Mac Hollins likes about California.
Cali does a lot of things wrong. But one thing that I know for sure they do right, they sell raw milk in their grocery stores. So as soon as I got here, I got raw milk. Okay. And I was drinking it because I came from practice straight here. So that's what I was having for lunch. Okay. And the guys were like, oh, why are you drinking the raw milk? Like, it's thick, isn't it? I'm like, see, that's the confusion. Y'all think it's like straight from the udder and all of a sudden it's way thicker. Like, that's not how it works. It tastes the exact same as normal milk.
Well, the thing I would be more interested in if it was breast milk, which there are people that seek out breast milk, and that would have been, I would have gone, that's legitimately interesting. You're drinking human breast milk, but just unpasteurized milk. There are some concerns about how good it is for you, but I would hardly count that. It's not like smoking DMT.
So bad for you, dude. No seed oils at all.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the woman who went into the store? She said, I need 50 gallons of milk. It's time for my annual milk bath. I do it once a year. And the guy at the store said, all right, do you want it pasteurized? And she said, no, up to my boobs is fine.
Yeah, like I would have said to my neck.
Pasteurized.
Yeah.
No, I know, but you didn't have to say boobs. It kind of makes it not suitable for work. NSFW. With that. This guy's crazy. He's drinking unpasteurized milk. Meanwhile, there's someone smoking toad venom. This guy's drinking unpasteurized milk. Wow.
Organic steak.
That's right, organic steak.
Yeah.
No hormones there.
A2 butter.
So it's not just the milk that he's into. And they ask him about some other theories on things that he's into.
I'm not like so deep that I'm on the flat earth side yet.
Yeah.
But it's hard, you get yourself a chicken, and then all of a sudden you go down a rabbit hole. It's like immediately you get yourself one chicken, and then you eat one chicken egg that's a real chicken egg, not one of those little 28-day chickens that they pump full of steroids and couldn't move it all, and then you got an egg out of it. Not one of those ones that cost 6 cents an egg. Now when you get a real one that actually has flavor, and you're like, oh, I actually feel good from this, and all of a sudden you're talking about firmament and dragons on the outside. It's a slippery slope.
What's funny about that? There's people I know in Newton that I'm friends with that have chickens. In Newton Center, they have chickens so they can eat the eggs.
Oh, move out of the sticks.
There's a very low bar in weirdness in the NFL. I don't know if you've... Now, there's a lot of violence and things of that nature off the field, but they seem to be pretty impressed by fairly generic dietary habits.
Hardy, could you play the very beginning of that clip again, please? The first, 3 seconds. I just noticed something.
About the chickens? Okay, hold on
please.
a second.
Yeah, the one you just played, if you don't mind.
All right. This better be worth it, 12.
It won't be, but go ahead, please.
I'm not so deep that I'm on the flat earth side yet.
Okay, right there. Yet. I'm not on the flat earth side yet.
I noticed that, too.
It's such a tell that he's such a tryhard when it comes to this, goofy, out there persona.
Well, I think he was asked about it, in fairness to him.
Oh, sure, but
I think they were asking him about weird stuff so he would react to it.
Sure.
You know what? There are enough people in sports, NBA, NFL, who believe in the flat earth that we can goof on for that. We don't have to reach to goof on Matt Collins for that because I don't think he believes that. There are plenty of people who do.
Yeah, you cannot put this stuff on Matt Collins. I'm not putting any of this on Matt Collins or making fun of Matt Collins at all. He's being asked these things. They're trying to get him to be eccentric, and I'm just saying that the things that he's mentioned are not odd. I mean, there's people out there that dress as babies for sexual pleasure and get in adult-sized cribs and get changed. There's a lot of human beings behaving in very odd manners, non-criminal, but just odd. You're not impressing me that you like eggs that come right from a chicken.
Like that caused the closure of the diaper spa in New Hampshire.
No, I was very pro opening that diner. That's unfair. You miscategorized that, and I won't stand for that. I do occasionally, even for the sake of comedy, I can't let you get away with that. I have to tell you that I was all for the diaper spa in New Hampshire. I thought just because it was in a residential neighborhood, leave my diaper spa alone. These are people that just want to be infantilized. Obviously, they had wonderful childhoods.
Not hurting anyone.
That's certainly not. I mean, it's not helping anyone.
Once again, there's that low bar.
Well, it's indulging probably very, very, very corrosive behavior.
myself.
Yeah, something happened that you need to get past instead of indulging. But yes.
All right, so there is.
But we have to admit, unpasteurized milk and egg, especially just wow, you like fresh eggs. This is not exactly. Do you like cider mills? Do you like picking apples from trees?
Yeah.
This is not overly unusual, and they're laughing and eating it up. And again, I have no problem with Matt Collins. He's not doing anything wrong. He's just telling them average hippie stuff. It's not that crazy.
Well, the one real controversy that exists there in San Francisco is the electric substation that is nearby the 49ers facility, and he was asked about that.
You're probably the best person to ask about this because you're into health and wellness, but what do you think about the Niners electrical substation theory and the dangers of using it?
Oh, look, we were talking about the flat earth. This is a couple stages above that. I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of studies, if you just do on plants, where you put a EMF next to a plant, it doesn't grow as well as a plant without it. Now, I'm not a scientist though, so I don't want to say it's this or
reasonable.
But there has to be some correlation. I don't know if that you can say, ACLs are tearing and stuff because of that.
He seems like a fairly reasonable guy.
You put an EMF next to a plant.
He gets down.
I told you. I had a friend, a good friend of mine, lives in Boston. He said, have you seen this story about the 49ers? And I went, yeah. And he goes, it's true. And then he took a picture and he had a meter in his hand. He drives around with a meter that measures whatever the hell the thing it is. So Now, would I want to live next to like an electrical substation? Probably not, for many reasons. But I'm not carrying around a meter. So Mac Hollins is more reasonable than people I'm friends with. So I excuse me if I'm not buying into this eccentricity. Anyone who says I'm not a scientist, immediately I will give a ton of credit to, because at least they've gotten that out of the way.
I look. The EMF thing might be a thing. What I found funny about it was that because there is this substation near their practice fields in Santa Clara, that is contributing to soft tissue and lower extremity injuries.
No, I don't think it's true.
Well,
I just
it's the season-ending ACL tears, the fractured and dislocated ankle, because the EMF, the electromagnetic field, it's like a fog. It could just kind of stays low on the ground. It rarely rises above waist level.
Right.
So it's going to get to your ACL and your ankles first.
So when they asked John Lynch about that, they said, "Are you going to?" They asked him, they're like, "Are you going to investigate this?" And he said, "You know what? Players have complained, so we will investigate it." So players had complained about it, so they'll investigate it. And I bet you they have someone come in and they like explain what's going on. But I again, I am no scientist, but I do have a friend who had a picture on hand or took it at that moment of him with an EMF meter or whatever the hell it is.
You're unbelievable.
So he can just drive around like measuring the electromagnetic fields of where he is. And with his lifestyle, he's going to live forever anyway. So you got to figure that
Mac's not into any of that, though. He also says he only wears wired headphones. He doesn't go wireless. He doesn't want any of that extra stuff around him.
What, Bluetooth?
If they have significantly higher injuries than other places, then there has to be something, whether it's that or the AMF stuff or it's something else. They still got to get to the bottom of what it is, because if there's some sort of difference between them and every other team, then there must be a cause for it. If it's EMF, I mean, that's going to be tough on all the headphone companies. Like, they're going to be sick to their stomach.
Yep.
I'm not a big head. I'm a wired headphone guy, so.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect him.
Good for him.
You're not so the Bluetooth, unless you have them in your ear, that is not around you. If you're on a plane and everyone's using Bluetooth headphones, are you somehow not?
It's not
they're not
pressed
in your
up
ears?
against your skull, so it's not great.
Wire
but
keeps a bubble around you.
It's not as bad.
I thought people use wired headphones so they don't lose them, because AirPods are so easy to lose. Anyway, well, listen. Suffice it to say, Mike Hollins is nuts. He eats eggs from.
Come out to play!
Yeah, I don't care for that.
Catchy.
I don't care for that. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Ryan Johnston, the voice of the Boston Bruins. They are in Florida. They will not have another game after tonight for 3 weeks as they break for the Winter Olympic Games. We will talk to him in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy will be right back.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Ryan Johnston is our good friend. He is the play-by-play voice of the Boston Bruins, who play this evening in Florida to finish up before the All-Star break. That game's at 7 o'clock. You'll hear the pregame at 6:30 here on 98.5 The Sports. What did I say?
All-Star.
Olympic break, the 3-week Olympic break. Ryan Johnston, hello, sir.
Good morning, guys.
What were your thoughts on just the scene in Tampa at that outdoor game?
It was pretty cool. I have heard from people who say, these things are overdone, and I kind of think of that as well. And from a TV perspective, maybe they don't have the same cachet as they used to. But the in-stadium experience is really cool. Just the energy level that comes from having 60+ thousand people around a hockey game instead of our normal 17 or 18. It made a big difference, and it's not. Listen, the ratings came out last night. They had over 2 million people watching. It's one of the highest rated games ever on cable. From a hockey perspective. So, they're doing something right. And the teams, it didn't come out on the right end of the stick for the Bruins, but the teams put on a hell of a show for us on Sunday night.
Did you know what was happening with all the Pirate stuff? Were you guys fully informed and prepped on the big Pirate Day there in Tampa? Because it was confusing.
Yeah, I kind of, I had heard about it in advance, but I'm not sure I was really ready for it. When we were going over to practice on Saturday afternoon. Saturday was the big day for Gasparilla, which is this giant pirate festival. It's like
no kidding,
version of Mardi Gras.
Of course, everybody knows that.
Tell us something we don't know.
I came out of my hotel room and went to the elevator, and there's the ice machine over by the elevator, and there's a woman standing there who's dressed. You remember Mr. Smee from Peter Pan? The Captain Hook's kind of assistant.
Oh, sure.
She's dressed like Mr. Smee.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, this is a little bit different. This is not quite what I was expecting. And certainly we looked outside, and the street was just flooded with people who are all dressed as pirates.
Yeah, because they were dressed as pirates on TV, but there was no real explanation. And so you were just I wonder if this is some kind of gay cosplay or something.
I kind of got the feeling that they felt like the entire country knew what Gasparilla was. I had never heard of it before this week when we were going to be there for it. So, and the only reason I knew about it was because they basically told us, we're going to have extra security around the hotel so that the drunken pirates don't come marauding through the hallways.
Yeah, it was certainly odd. All right, 2 million people just got to see how undisciplined the Bruins are. It was a real showcase of that on I guess what was that Sunday night.
Yep.
A real showcase of just how incredibly undisciplined that team is. What's going on there? What are they doing? Why is this happening?
It's something that it has felt like that they had mostly cleaned up. I mean, it's still going to take penalties, but haven't been those level of penalties lately. If you go back over this stretch, it really started kind of right around New Year's Eve in Edmonton. They're giving up more like 2, 3, maybe 4 power plays a game, as opposed to some of these games they've had this year where they've given up, 6 or 7, and now 8 was the number against Tampa Bay. So that's a season high. Listen, I think there were a couple of those penalties that were maybe you could have questioned. I think there were some penalties that Tampa Bay took that didn't get called. But beside that, there were a lot of those penalties that had to be called. Guys are putting their sticks in where they're not supposed to. Sean Corrali closes his hand on the puck. It's a penalty. The referees don't have a lot of discretion on that. So. It's something that Marco Sturm has been talking about since the beginning of the season. This team is so much better 5-on-5. When they can play even up with other teams, they can't put themselves in that position. And for the most part, recently they haven't. Maybe it was the pressure of the moment. Maybe it was just the kind of overwhelming factor of the momentum once Tampa kind of got going in that game and started chipping away at the lead. But it was just it's too much, and I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, because we've heard about it over and over and over again. The players have talked about it. Guys like David Pastrnak and Morgan Geekie and many others who don't kill penalties, they barely see the ice for a good chunk of that second period because they're shorthanded. And a lot of the time it was 5-on-3. When you're sitting out there and it's 40 degrees and you're stiffening up on the bench, that's not going to help you when you get back out there. So, it's something that they continue to address, and I don't know what the solution ultimately is.
It's not just that, Ryan, in the second period. It's the timing of the thing. You're up 5-1. The only way you're going to let Tampa back into that game is by taking stupid penalties and getting goaded into it. They got enough veteran leadership there that they should know better than this.
Yeah, they should. Listen, you look down the list of, who those penalties are against. It's McAvoy, it's Kastelik, it's McAvoy. McAvoy gets into it again with Hagel. I think that one ended up putting them shorthanded by a 5-on-3. It's, Corralli. These are not, rookie mistakes. These are veteran guys who, have to know better. It seems like, as I said, for the last 3-4 weeks, they had gotten better and they had gotten away from a lot of that stuff, and they just kind of reverted back to it at a really bad time.
We were talking about it with Fluto yesterday, and I said, well, what's the answer? Because, he was theorizing as to why they were taking the penalties and the position that they were in games. I said, well, what's the fix? Do you somehow change something in your own end? Is it something, more to do with the neutral zone and the way you were getting the puck through or stopping it? And he said, no, you just need better players. And I thought, oh, that's not great if you're unable to fix the penalty issue there. But some of their players, Ryan, are maybe not available right now, but will be available for international play. What's the talk around the team about a couple of guys in particular, Zaka among them, who may not be ready to go now, but seem to be full go for the Olympics?
Seems like they're being held out for the Olympics, where it should be the reverse of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to – I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think they're not playing because they're – they want to be available for the Olympics. If they were available, they would be here. They didn't make the trip. Zaka got hurt the last game before we left for Tampa. Elias Lindholm had been hurt the game before. We haven't gotten really any word on, other than, your typical, it's upper body injury. We haven't gotten any word on, what the severity of those injuries were. So when Marco Sturm was asked yesterday after practice about, would those guys potentially be available for the Olympics, he said, yeah, they probably would at this point. And he kind of said, that'll be more up to the national team doctors than our doctors, which was a little bit of an odd response.
Yeah, I think that another way of putting that is not that they're being held out to play in the Olympics. Is that's probably not fair. Another way to put it, or to ask the question, is if you're the Bruins and you're paying these guys and they can't play, and then they go overseas and they play, and this is only applicable to guys that were hurt before the Olympics, okay? Not if you go over there and get hurt. There's nothing you can do about that. But if a guy's hurt, maybe he pushes it in the Olympics, makes the injury worse. Like, where does that leave you as a franchise? It just seems to be an interesting place that the NHL in particular is in, because you would agree the players care more about international competition than in any other sport, I would imagine.
It is a big deal. It really is. Especially, obviously we focus on the United States and Canada for the most part over here, but especially for the European players, they talk about that was the dream growing up. It wasn't necessarily about winning a Stanley Cup. It was about playing for, an Olympic gold medal or playing in the World Championships for your country. So it is a massive deal for these guys. Listen, I think my gut tells me that if the Bruins were playing next week, that both of those guys, if they're going to be available for the Olympics, then both of those guys would be available for the Bruins.
Right.
That they're not going to send them over there or let them go if they have something significant. They knew that they weren't going to play these couple of games down here. You hold them out until the break. It could have been a situation where if you really, really were against it, if you're in the situation maybe that Florida's in, where you're 9 points out of a playoff spot and you've got a slew of teams you're going to have to leapfrog over, maybe you push them for the last game or two before the break. The Olympic tournament doesn't start for the men, I think, for another week. I think it might be a week from today. So maybe they're kind of right on the cusp of being ready. The Bruins aren't going to push them into the last game here before the break. Make sure they have a few extra days to kind of recuperate and then fly over and maybe be ready to go. But that's kind of just all speculation on my part. But I listen. I, like a lot of people, kind of a little crooked eye when Marco said that yesterday. But this is what the NHL has to deal with. I mean, you look at
Stern doesn't like it. I mean, of course you wouldn't like it.
It's part of the deal.
No, I know, but
last year, you look at what happened to Charlie McAvoy.
Right.
They lost him for the season because of what happened at the Four Nations tournament. This is the risk you're going to have to take. We were talking with Gary Bettman the other night before the outdoor game.
By the way, can he fix his teeth? Gary Bettman's teeth are very discolored for a man of his wealth.
I didn't take a good look.
Well, that's the first thing I noticed.
Seriously, that's I'm looking right now. That's the first thing I noticed. In front of the guy, that can't be.
Did you notice that too when he was on TV?
Yes.
He had very discolored teeth.
Yes,
I don't know if he's a big cigar smoker, but which means he's cool. But
yeah,
but he's paying the price. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not you, John. Him. Go. Sorry.
I asked him about the importance of the Olympics to the league, and I kind of knew what his answer was going to be, because I don't think he puts a lot of importance on it for the league as a whole. But he said it's important to the league because it's important to the players.
Right.
And that's why it ended up in the collective bargaining agreement that they're going to be a part of this here. So. This is just kind of what comes with that. We know it's a contact sport. We know guys are going to get hurt. There are likely to be serious injuries. I mean, there's been already questions about, the arenas over there and what the ice conditions are going to be and all of that because of the late construction. But, this is what you're going to have to deal with. I mean, there are plenty of players who are not going to be able to make it, including Anthony Cirelli, who took that hit from Kastelik the other day. It was announced yesterday he's not going to be able to go. And so they're going to replace him with Sam Bennett, who coincidentally just got hurt on Monday night, although it sounds like he may play tonight. So, teams are going to have to deal with whatever comes out of it. I do believe it has it's a positive impact on the league as a whole and on these teams to be able to showcase their stars in best on best competition on an international level. But, it's gonna come with some drawbacks, and just you hope. I mean, the Bruins are one of the teams that have. I mean, they're up to now. What is it? 8?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Olympians with the addition of Korpisalo yesterday.
Yeah, that a team that's this kind of mediocre would have 8 guys going to the Olympics is pretty crazy. You wouldn't have thought that.
I mean, you've got Florida's got 9, Tampa's got 10. I mean, you've got teams who are going to need to make playoff pushes here. Who are going to have half their rosters playing in these tournaments. So we'll see.
All right. Well, a sneaky big game tonight. They can if they get 2 points against the Panthers, that puts the Panthers in a even more difficult position with not a lot of season left when they get back from the Olympics. Ryan, enjoy your time, sir. Enjoy tonight, and then enjoy your time off, as you'll probably be at Margaritaville at some point. So I hope you enjoy that. Ryan, thank you so much for the time, sir.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
There you go. One thing I'll say is the only Olympic sport that I think that I can consume at all is hockey. There's literally nothing else that I can watch that I can watch. I can't. You can brainstorm.
Curling, for some reason, I always watch curling, and I don't know why.
Do you watch it, or do you put it on for a moment and then go, oh, curling?
For some reason, I watch it for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I don't know why that is. It's boring to me. I
like some of the freestyle stuff, the snowboarding and some of the ski stuff. That's spectacle.
I just can't relate to it because I never did it. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Guys are putting their sticks in where they're not supposed to.
Essential.
Are you headed to Frisco early for the big game?
I bet you are.
Are you going to take that Alcatraz tour so you can drop the soap?
Say hi to the Booty Bandit.
Would you do that for me? Please?
Let's go. I have a friend who's out there that has a good time. He generally has a good time. He calls it shenanigans. And he says it sucks. He says it's no good. He's been to the gentlemen's clubs and things of that nature, which he said were fine, but not enjoying himself that much on the work trip. All right, Mike Vrabel, this is all work for him. They already had their celebration parade after the AFC Championship game. So now it's just it's time to hunker down. And Vrabel talked to the media. Yeah. If I'm telling you, if they lose the Super Bowl, I'm really latching onto that. I really am. It's going to annoy people. I'm just telling you, because that's going to get played a lot. Now, if they win, it will no longer need to be played because it will get played enough. It will become a whole thing. Ryan sent something that there was like a street sign or like how they have those signs on the highways.
Yeah.
This is like Warriors don't like something. It was like with traffic related.
Yeah.
So it's going to become like a whole thing. And so you won't need me. But it certainly will not become a whole thing if they lose. And then I will take great joy in playing him celebrating after the AFC Championship game. Go ahead, Hardy. What did he have to say yesterday?
Well, last we heard him talking about the Seattle defense, and the obvious concern you have is for Drake May. How will he play, and how will he be protected? So that brings up the likes of Campbell and Wilson. Thoughts, Coach?
Well, I mean, I think they're talented. I think that they've worked. I think they've tried to get better each and every week. There's some matchups in this league that are tough, and they've had some really good plays. They've had some plays that they'd like to have back, but they're out there for the most part all the time, practicing, improving, working together.
Volan talked to Skarnecchia, and it's a good article in the Globe if you want to read it. And he was talking about, and he wasn't like overly kind, and he was saying that Will Campbell missing that time did him no favors, that he could have really used, beyond the physical limitations he might be playing with now, if any, that missing those 4 games kind of put him behind the 8 ball because you need all the experience you can get going into these situations. And again, just to repeat it, another thing he talks about is how Seattle gets an effective rush from all positions on the defensive line, and therefore they can stunt and they can confuse. And if I read it correctly, I didn't memorize it and I didn't print it out like an idiot, so I'm just going by memory. There's a chance that Campbell can be confused during this. That it's a point of concern that you can't just chip the edge rusher or keep a back on that side and say, here you go, because there's going to be that McDonald will use different kinds of, even just with 4 rushers, just use different kinds of schemes to get to the quarterback.
I'm wondering if that will cloud the Patriots' ability to kind of evaluate where they need to go during the summer. We talked about if he's been struggling, maybe get another tackle and kick him inside. But given what you just said, okay, well, he missed 4 weeks. If he had those 4 weeks, maybe he would have done better during the playoffs. Maybe we should give him another year out there. Maybe we don't need to go in that direction.
Well, a lot of mocks, or at least a couple, have a based just on how the draft falls, them taking a tackle, which they'll need because Morgan Moses can't play forever, so they're going to need a tackle.
Yeah.
So what I've always believed is I believe that if they do draft a tackle and they bring him in and they feel that he'd be better suited to be your left tackle, maybe they move. I think it's more likely that they would move him to right tackle, I guess, than they would move him to guard, but because that's kind of like a demotion, and that's also like a money situation too. If you're Will Campbell, like that would piss me off.
You don't want to go to guard because that's going to affect your paycheck.
Right, exactly. Like the payments for that not in the same ballpark.
But the Patriots are underdogs, 4.5-point dogs, Coach.
I mean, I think I would say the majority of Americans or majority of people probably are more underdogs than they are favorites. Favorites are the talented elite top 10%.
Yeah.
Most groups are made out of a lot of people that are average and 80%, and we're trying to make the 80% a little bit better. Talent's talent. There's a lot of things that are God-given. We try to focus on things that we can realistically improve.
That's right. A bunch of you average. There's only so much of us elite,
Yeah, you can't relate to what he's saying, but the rest of us can.
No, I can relate to the concept of it, obviously, because I'm elite. There's nothing he can say that gets past
You might
me.
have a better perspective because you're looking at.
I am looking down at so many people. Correct.
It's the bigger picture.
I get a 10,000-foot view. You're down there. You're down there mucking around with them.
Well, we're all the Warriors.
Yeah, it doesn't end so well for the Warriors.
I'm a warrior, too.
That keeps getting lost in all of this. I don't understand.
Yeah, a lot of these movies involving gangs, the end, not so much of a factor.
No.
Scarface is the perfect example. He wants to bang his sister and gets murdered.
Let's go.
There
Warriors.
is
He
that
gets
aspect.
assassinated. There's a difference.
Sure. His life ends, and he tries to. His sister accuses him of wanting to bang her. So there is, and even beyond that, because maybe he doesn't want to bang his sister, but she does end up in bed with his best friend and falling in love with his best friend, which is a betrayal
Well,
to
they got
Scarface
married.
too. That's right. That's right. A lot of
She and
backstory
Manny.
on that too.
Yeah.
They just kind of show up married.
Well, he rescued her from the club that night. Tony burst into the bathroom as she was getting it on in the stall with that guy, and Manny took her home, and that's when love began to blossom.
Yeah, and so they go from that to married.
Yeah,
Oliver Stone
sure.
didn't need to put too much of that love story.
Brian De
into
Palma.
it. Oh, Brian De Palma. Oliver Stone wrote it.
Oh,
Yeah, Oliver Stone wrote Scarface. I'm almost 100% positive Oliver Stone wrote Scarface. I think I am positive of that. But I'll check it. Don't worry. All right, one more clip, and then we can get to our friend.
well, he's got advice. Again, talking about somebody with a different perspective.
I mean, I think I always try to use every experience that I've had over the course of close to 30 years in this league, whether that's as a player or a coach, to try to help the team and help individual players do their job. So, I think you have to be ready for every situation that occurs. The opportunities present themselves in these types of games. You only have so many opportunities to make a play. You always have to be ready.
Yeah, he's not just a coach.
I'm a warrior, too.
Yeah, he too is a warrior.
No, Vrabel's a good coach, and that will be. I think McDonald's a good coach too. So it's two good coaches. So the coaching I think is even. Maybe even Vrabel gets a slight advantage, but I mean he's a brilliant in-game manager, and he seems to have he's not going to lose control of the game. I don't think it's fair to say Darnold in this game is the worst quarterback. I just think that's even. Darnold has had problems early in his career, but May has not played well in the playoffs necessarily, and he's in his second year. He's a kid.
Anyone who saw Darnold play in the NFC Championship game.
And just very quickly, Adam, I'm sorry, but just for like 5 seconds, like Darnold having gone through those struggles before, I don't look upon as a negative necessarily. That might be very much a positive going into a high-pressure game, is that the kid's already been through all this crap, so now he can deal with adversity. Not that May can't, but you're positioning like Darnold's failures 6 years ago as some reason that there's no way he could perform now, and you could make a counter-argument that for his constitution that might be better. All right, Chris Forsberg will join us in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The
Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
After a player's day off, the Patriots will be back at practice this afternoon out at Stanford University as we all continue to get closer to the Super Bowl Sunday night against Seattle in Santa Clara, California. One of the bigger things for the Patriots' success is Mike Vrabel's defense affecting Seattle quarterback Sam Darnold.
You know, again, there's a willingness to stand in the pocket, and there's a willingness to progress through. A lot of talent. I think his courage to stand in there. I mean, the Rams nailed him, and he completed an unbelievable pass to Cooper on the sideline. So he didn't shy away. He didn't duck. Didn't fade back. He stood there and faced the fire, which is what you have to do in this league if you're going to be an elite quarterback.
In San Francisco last night, the NFC beat the AFC in the Flag Football Pro Bowl game 66-52. Celtics made a big trade yesterday. They sent Anthony Simons to Chicago in exchange for starting center Nikola Vucevic. Last night, the Green opened up a Texas back-to-back with a 110-100 win in Dallas. Jaylen Brown voted the Eastern Conference's Player of the Month for January, and then he had 33 points and 11 rebounds last night to lead the Green to the win. Celtics are in Houston tonight. Grandy and Max had the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 over on 105.7 WROR. The NBA trade deadline isn't until tomorrow, but a lot went on yesterday. The big deal of the day, Clippers sent James Harden to Cleveland for Darius Garland and a second-round pick, and Memphis sent Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah in an 8-player deal. And the Bruins play their final game before the Winter Olympic break tonight in Florida against the Panthers. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jonas Korpisalo added to Team Finland as an injury replacement yesterday. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. With over 50 trucks on the road because your clogged drain is their emergency, go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston Toll for Sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
New England plays here.
Down the right side, there's a separation. Touchdown pass. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, what's it like to work with Hardy and Wallach?
What a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub.
Count your lucky stars, Mr. Forsberg.
Yeah, but you're not here. And I even have a gift for you that I was going to give to you today, but you're not here, so...
Do I lose the gift, or can I still claim next week?
You can get it next week.
What's the gift?
They gave all members of the 90s Cruise this 90s Cruise T-shirt that I was thinking, who would wear this? Now, 12, of course, would wear it.
Yeah, he needs it.
But it looks like Gasper, doesn't it? Doesn't that just look like something Gasper would wear?
You mean Forsberg?
Yeah, I was thinking about Gasper. Chris, same thing.
Close enough.
Forsberg. Yeah, doesn't it look like something Forsberg would wear?
Yeah, it's got a 90s Cruise logo, which is very much like the Saved by the Bell logo, and then it's like an old school, what was that program?
Microsoft
MS Paint, yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft. Oh, you can see it. That's right. Microsoft Paint, which I never used.
Oh, you know what? Now that I see it has my name on the back, maybe I won't give it to you. Maybe I won't.
You keep that.
Whoa.
You keep that.
He's better than Ezra on the back?
Better Than Ezra is on the back. They have third billing behind TLC and Sugar Ray.
I'll allow it. That feels like a fair representation.
Yeah.
How can you give me I know you gave me a little Instagram tidbit, but did you enjoy the Better Than Ezra experience?
They were really good. They put on a great show. They know what they're doing. They need to get out there, do a lot of covers, keep the crowd into it. They're good. They're a fun band.
They're a really good band because they do covers.
No, but on a cruise ship,
Right.
obviously, if you're going
for a band with a very limited catalog.
If you're going to see Better Than Ezra on one of their many headlining tours, which they still do, they're not going to play all the covers. But they threw in like one cover medley of like 3 songs, probably went on for like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And they did another cover in its entirety. And then the rest was all BTE, baby.
Would you be upset if you saw them, Chris, and Chris Forsberg from NBC Sports Boston, by the way, who covers the Celtics? Would you be upset if you saw Better Than Ezra and they were doing other people's songs?
No, they mix in a good amount of covers even on their headlining tour.
Wise.
They have
defer to the more talented, obviously.
they have a robust catalog, but you know what? You have to cater to the casuals sometime, and the ultimate goal is to make sure everyone has a good experience, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Paul McCartney's very, very famous for that. He will go up and he's like, you want to hear the Beatles? You want to hear Wings? You want to hear my solo stuff? Not so fast. You know what we're going to play here? A little Fog Hat. Yeah, so everyone sit tight. You know? Or we're going to play
Bread.
We're going to play Naughty Naughty by the guy.
John Parr.
By John Parr.
Yeah.
All right, which is I heard for the first time in my entire life yesterday in the
Really?
car. I said, what is this? And then I remembered, this is the Naughty Maserati thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, very clever. You use Naughty Naughty for Naughty Maserati.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, listen.
Can I ask Hardy a few more questions about the 90s cruise?
Yeah, sure.
What was the second best act behind Better Than Ezra that you saw?
Oh, good question. Yeah, rank them. No, just don't do that. Have you put together any kind of mental ranking?
Get an all-time set list. What would it
You
be?
must have a power ranking. You walk away, you say, okay, like Better Than Ezra 1, TLC 2.
You know what was really good? Was Tonic. Tonic was surprisingly good.
Oh, I hate them.
You don't like Tonic?
Well, it's not.
Lemon Parade was a absolutely fantastic album.
Yeah, it's also a fun thing. But Tonic one time played a live X for us, like when they would do small shows, and my program director started weeping at the power of Tonic, and I was not the only one. Everyone with the station was like, "What's going on?"
So the best thing involving Tonic, though, was the breakdown that they did of the song, this thing called The Session that this guy Christian does, and he breaks the song down track by track, and he had the lead singer of Tonic doing If You Could Only See with him on stage. And they break it down there, and they knew each other, so they're giving each other a lot of crap as they're doing it. But then to cap it all off, they play the video. And it is the most 90s video ever. And they're both laughing hysterically. First of all, it starts in a hotel room. He said, the lead singer says, we were always running from something. We're always on the run. You know, we're always, trying to evade the authorities in these videos.
Yeah.
But he said at some point he's rocking back and forth because he's in such torment. And he described it as, I call this the hot water burn baby. Hot water burn baby.
Yeah.
He's looking like Rain Man in the middle of this video for no apparent reason. But that was good. And as a Tonic fan or a Better Than Ezra fan, you would have enjoyed seeing the breakdowns of their songs, Chris.
Final question. What does TLC do during the Left Eye parts?
I did not watch TLC's performance.
Oh. For shame.
Well, I mean,
it's too crowded.
There was stuff going on all the time, and you had to pick and choose. I watched DJ Hurricane spin. That was cool. I was on the pool deck to watch Sugar Ray, which the people loved. I wasn't that moved by it.
I think you could ask the guys in Sugar Ray if they're good, and I would almost guarantee you that Mark McGrath would go, yes, we are not good.
So I guess Mark McGrath was a little put off by the fact that they only got to come on board the ship there in Key West and do the one show and then had to leave. And then it was explained to him, your management wanted so much money for you guys to be on the whole cruise. That's why you're only coming on here to do the one show, and then you got to get off.
Well, yeah, that would be a sign of your popularity being more popular than the other acts than it would be anything else. Like
Exactly.
if you were not on the boat the entire time, you're the biggest act. Oh, well, that's an interesting way to look at it. Mark McGrath, that inside or that Entertainment Tonight money or whatever the hell he's doing has got him going to his head. All right, Peter Forsberg, a big trade for the Celtics yesterday. Not Peter Forsberg, Chris Forsberg. We were talking about
Close
that.
enough.
There was a goalie fight the other night, so that's why. Chris Forsberg, can you take us through the Celtics trade?
Yes. So I think we all knew going into this trade deadline, the Celtics had a pretty obvious need at the big man position. We spent a lot of time talking about probably big swing guys that they might target. Zubats with the Clippers, probably top among them. And my general sense is as they got closer to the deadline, some of those potential deals were not there. And they probably figured what is the best big man swap they can do with Anthony Simon's contract. And landed on Nikola Vucevic. And, it's probably a little surprising. I didn't think they'd trend towards a little bit of a rental type guy, 35 years old, 15 years in the league. But I go back to it. I think if you're going to make a serious playoff push, if you believe Jason Tatum is coming back, that was the area of greatest need. And as good as Nemish Queta and Luka Garza have been, they needed to bolster that spot a little bit, give you the ability to go double big in instances. You start thinking about the teams they might have to play in the Eastern Conference playoffs, whether that is New York with Towns and Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench, or Detroit with how physical they are up front, even Cleveland, and I mean Miami with Bam. Like there's a whole bunch of teams that you're going to have to compete with, and you're going to need size and experience there. And the casualty here is Anthony Simons, who was really good, probably won them a bunch of games, but I was making a lot of money, and there wasn't a clear pathway to keeping him long term. And from pretty much the moment he arrived, we kind of knew he would be moved at some point. I think they gave some thought to carrying him through the rest of the year. But look, if you think Tatum's coming back, some of the bench guys we're going to see diminished amounts of shots. We saw last night Peyton Pritchard just slides right to that bench role and thrives. And I just think they tried to shore up one of their weak spots, hoping that if everything falls into place, this team is a legit contender in the East.
So watching Peyton Pritchard slide back into his sixth-man role, do you think that's the way Joe's going to go moving forward, and maybe starting with the double big?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll go double big to start, but what I think they'll do is, they'll keep Peyton in that role as long as it's the best thing for the team. Because you don't have a whole bunch of ball handlers, and maybe some of that will be mitigated. Like if you think about it, for every minute of the playoffs, they're going to have one of Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, and hopefully Tatum out on the court. So it's not like they desperately need someone as a backup ball handler, but certainly getting Peyton the volume of shots he did last night, one of his highest shot games in a game this year that he's played with Brown. I thought it showed that could be really valuable. And, Joe's going to push these buttons whatever way he thinks works best. And credit to Peyton, like, it can't be easy. Like, he comes into the season and there's a lot of chatter about can he be a starter, and he did pretty well. Obviously some ups and downs with the shooting. But to have the humility to go to the bench and embrace that because it's what's best for the team is good. And like, look, if they come in and they don't go double big and Vucevic gives you a little something off the bench, maybe they give thought to moving him back up. But if it's, I appreciate that. It feels like the guys on this team care about winning, and sacrifice is okay. And, we've seen that down through the years with like starting with Pearson, Garnett, and Allen. Like, you just understand when you have a bunch of talent, someone's got to sacrifice if you want to chase a title. And I thought that was pretty neat of Pritchard to move back that quickly and be okay with it.
Do you think that you keep mentioning Tatum in this? Do you think that this move signals to you that Tatum is coming back this year?
Yeah, I've never wavered on it, and I totally get that he's kind of pondering it and his fit. And, I certainly think as you get closer, you start thinking about, is my body going to hold up? And heaven forbid you injure yourself again. Like a million things run through your head. But I don't think you work that hard without the goal of getting back out there. And I think he's just navigating that process of like how it's going to work, getting back out there. Same thing. I think he showed a lot of self-awareness, not wanting to rock the boat and knowing that it's going to cause some things to change a little bit. But I just suspect he's going to be out there. And, at first I always thought, and I'm sure I told you this guys before, I thought it was like around his birthday, March, that he circled. And then I thought maybe he was sliding into February because he seems so far ahead of schedule, and we'll see where it lands. But I'd be really surprised if he ultimately elects to sit it out, because I think he knows the best version of this team includes him, and they'll figure it out. And it's been nice to hear the Celtics kind of within the last week, from Joe to even Jaylen last night, kind of reaffirm like they want him there. They know he's the best. The best version of this team is with him, and I think it'll eventually get there.
So what about all the reporting last week, which says that he was having second thoughts?
Again, I think some of that might have. I'm reading tea leaves here, and I think there's some truth to it in terms of, again, you're getting to the point where you got to make a decision. Are you doing this? And a little bit of self-doubt creeps in. Like, is my Achilles going to hold up? Am I ready to deal with the rigors of NBA basketball every night? Am I ready to jump into the grind and be ready for a playoff series? Can I be the Jason Tatum that people are going to expect. But I don't think. I just think he's got to. It's something he's just got to kind of work through and process. And I just think that's maybe something he's mulling over, but I don't think it's enough to deter him to getting on the floor.
All right, there was some other big moves yesterday in the NBA. We can get Chris's opinions on those, and perhaps if he can dig up any more questions about that '90s cruise, perhaps.
Oh, I got plenty.
Yeah,
plenty. Like, are you okay with sharing a states room next year on this cruise with me?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I love to do, is share a hotel room with another grown man at my age. That's my favorite thing.
I'd be concerned about the time you spend in the bathroom, not based on your bowel habits, but so much, but the hairstyling.
No, the bowel habits would be an issue, I think, for anyone sharing a small room on a ship.
Oh no, you got company. You got someone to talk to.
You leave the door open
at night. All right, caller number 10 to the contest line, 617-931-0985. Will score a pair of tickets to see the Black Crowes at the Xfinity Center on June 19th. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. We'll be back with more from Christopher Forsberg.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and...
YD. Okay?
Toucher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
Darius Garland, 26 years old. James Harden is 36 years old. It's very rare where you have two prolific stars traded with a 10-year age gap, and the Clippers really feel Darius Garland allows them to be competitive now and well into the future.
We're Toucher and Hardy. Chris Forsberg covers the Celtics for NBC Sports Boston. Yesterday, as well as the Celtics deal, there was the deal that the Cavaliers got James Harden in exchange for Darius Garland in a second-round pick. What does that mean for the Cavaliers? What does that mean for the East? Now, by the way, now the Cavaliers in Vegas are the third likeliest team to win the championship.
Favorites in the East.
Yeah, right. They're ahead of Detroit. They're ahead of Boston now with this deal.
I mean, which doesn't make sense. I mean, James Harden's playoff success is, or lack thereof, has been well documented. Look, Garland was never available. Not, always his fault. Like, he just had a lot of kind of fluky stuff. Felt like he was perpetually breaking his nose or hurting an ankle. I get why they felt the need to make a move, and certainly Harden, with what he's accomplished in his career, is an intriguing option. We'll see if it works. There's a lot of talent in Cleveland, and I understand why the sports books would be bullish on them, but they haven't quite tapped into it this year. And I thought they were maybe turning a little bit of a corner and figuring a little bit out, and then to make this move is a little jarring. But again, Garland hasn't been available, and you're adding a player that, if nothing else, has a bunch of playoff experience. If Harden is committed and motivated, it could be very good for them. If it goes like it normally does and he fades a little bit in the postseason, I don't know if it necessarily moved the needle overall.
So do you think it was a wise thing for them to do? Do you think it makes them better this year? Are they a challenge to the Celtics now more than they were yesterday?
I mean, I think what the Pistons did, having Herter and getting the shooting that they coveted, is more important overall. Like, I still think they're the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland has to prove it, and we'll see how it works out. It's sometimes tough to integrate guys at this point of the season. But, undeniably, offensively, they should be better. And we'll see how that goes. It's just, can good teams, when you get to the playoffs, the Celtics always had a way of, Jaylen Brown would go defend James Harden, and he would, did a pretty good job at that whatever maybe the year they went to the finals, 22. Jaylen was really good against them. And if you take him out, can everybody else beat you? And we'll see. But undeniably with him, Mitchell, there's still a lot of potential there. I got to see James Harden thrive in the playoffs before I'm ready to buy all in.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my wish too. It's like, can I just take a look at it? But what does your gut tell you in terms of the chemistry and how things are going to go? I mean, we've seen this with Harden so many times before, and
only one basketball, and you have Donovan Mitchell on that team.
That's what John said earlier, and it's the biggest, most obvious hurdle in Harden being any kind of a difference maker. There's only one ball. So what does your gut tell you in terms of how it's going to work out?
Now, he can be a great playmaker, and if he buys into the fact that Mitchell needs his touches, and
but will he? Yeah. That's the difference.
I mean, he's coming from a situation where when Kawhi was healthy, he had to share the basketball. You can point to games where he's been really impactful and doesn't have to score a bunch. He's definitely going to get to the free throw line. There are parts of his game that I won't say enjoy, but I get, and that makes him a good player. But you just gotta, it's got to prove it. I worry that some of their. I wish they would just lean heavier into figuring out how to get Mobley to be a really, really night-to-night, more consistent player.
Well, I heard that this is good for that because Harden thrives in that pick and roll, and that he's really good at those lobs, at those lobs. So that this might have been by design to get the bigs more involved.
And it could be, and like Jared Allen has been very good, and like if he can obviously be a vertical threat as well. And again, on paper, I think it works, but sometimes you just got to see these things. And I'll go back to it. Like we can run this interview back in 2 months if I look silly, but
Yeah, let's do that.
yeah, it would be great. Actually, we'll replay the '90s career stuff first. But I just want to see it. Let's see how it looks. It's quite a dice roll, but then again, the way the season had gone for Cleveland, they probably needed to do something to shake it up. And I go back to it. You're moving a player that just wasn't consistently available, and at least the player you're bringing in, as much as we needle Harden about his size and commitment to staying in shape. He's available every night, and he's going to be out there.
We had a real good view of Danny Ainge making these wild trades while he was here. Yesterday, a massive one. I think there were 8 players and 3 first-round draft picks, and Jaren Jackson Jr. goes to Utah. I mean, it's a lot of fun if you cover the Utah Jazz, but from afar, what do you see this as exactly?
So I think what my general read is that Danny sees a situation where they're probably not going to be good immediately, right? Like Jackson Jr. hasn't been healthy all this season and for all of this season, and Walker Kessler is out. I think there's a chance they get a really good draft pick this year, and then you put that person with some of the pieces that you have now, and I mean that front court is formidable. Laurie, Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler when he's healthy again. If Nurkic stays there, although he's an expiring, and we'll see what else they do. Like Danny does this thing in steps, and maybe this is just the first little move before they try to fill out other spots of the roster. But you can at least see they're moving in a direction, trying to be competitive. Will Hardy is probably sick of losing as a coach, and he's really good. So we'll see what comes next. But I do think they had to pick a spot to kind of push some chips in, and getting a defensive player of the year type. I get it. Like a lot of Celtics fans wanted that sort of move for the Celtics to get the sort of big man of the future. The difficulty is Jaren Jackson Jr. makes $52 million average over the next 3 years, and the Celtics couldn't fit that. But Utah, they've got plenty of room. We'll see how they fill that roster out. But look. I mean, Ainge embraces that process, but I'm sure he's been waiting to kick it into overdrive.
Bringing it back to the Celtics, I mean, Brad Stevens just played his one big card to bring in an impact guy for the rotation. Trade deadline isn't until tomorrow. Is there another move for Brad to make that would help him towards some playoff wins?
Yeah, so I think the biggest remaining need would just be, adding a guard. I suspect Boucher will be moved at some point before the deadline, or potentially parted ways after. And you're going to have a roster spot. And now the one thing that the Vucevic trade did was, in saving that money, you're off the first apron. You have the ability that if a glitzy player lands on the buyout market, and that's potential. Like if Giannis moves, or if whatever happens over the next 48 hours or 24 and 28 hours, there's a chance that if a good player is out there, and last year the Celtics were limited. They couldn't go after anyone that was making more than the mid-level exception, $14-ish million. This year, because they're off the aprons, they can go pursue one of those players. And I don't know if necessarily there'll even be someone like that out there, but at least you have the opportunity. And maybe if you see a bigger guard, someone you would trust defensively in the playoffs, someone who can maybe help your bench, or at least be an option off the bench, they'll lean that way. I think that's more likely to be buyout than trade deadline. But certainly, there's always the opportunity to jump in as a third team. Celtics do have a bunch of traded player exceptions, ways to get in on this stuff. And as long as they're willing to spend a little bit, there could be some opportunity here.
All right. Shams Charania is all over with the trade deadline. That hair, as someone, Chris, who it spends a lot of attention to their hair. What do you make of Shams's oily coif?
He's got the slick look, right? Not a look I can pull off.
But it's slick, not in a Don Draper kind of way. It's poofed and slicked. It's almost like he's a greaser from the 50s.
I need to know the maintenance level. Like, is that roll out of bed, just a little dab?
Oh, no.
You know, it's funny you mention that because we were watching Grease 2 the other night, as I'm sure many people were Monday night.
You going prowling?
Nothing sports on. Those guys, like, no grease in the hair. They went from the very greasy look of the greased hair in Grease to Adrian Zmed going very blow-dried and very dry looking.
Well, I've been over this with the producers. When you get Zmed,
you got to let him do what he's going to do?
Well, no, and also you have this piece of beauty. Are we going to be married to the era, or are we going to allow this guy to cook?
Yeah.
And if you take a blow dryer away from him, I mean, now what do we got?
Fascinating, too, that the casting of Michael was done with no thought to casting someone who could actually sing. Let's cast the lead male in a musical with someone who cannot hear pitch at all.
How many blonde-haired guys could have been in that role
with a British accent? There's like, seems like they had their choice, but they went with that guy.
And could bowl, even though I don't think he was in the bowling scene.
He shows up late.
Okay, he does. All right,
and he's practicing his lines. He's walking up. Hey, fellas, let's bowl some bowls.
Yeah, fish out of water. All right. Well, Chris Forsberg, listen, Shams Charania he spends an entirely too much time putting himself together. It's too neatly groomed a package. He's hiding something. I think we can all agree on that. Well, Chris, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Fred, before I go, do you want to know the covers that Better Than Ezra played on the 90s cruise?
Oh, you have the set list in front of you?
I do have the set list in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they'd like that because then you're blowing it for everyone who's to see them in the future, but go ahead.
No, that is fine. Blister in the Sun, Violent Femmes, very 90s. Never Tear Us Apart, In Excess. Laid by James.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
I don't know what that song is.
Yes, you do. This bed is on fire.
Oh.
Passionate love.
Oof.
The neighbors complain about the noises above. Flagpole Sitter by Harvey Danger.
Which is a song I like.
Yeah.
I think everyone likes Flagpole Sitter by Harvey Danger. All right. Well, listen, Chris Forsberg, thank you for the information, sir. And, the Super Bowl's this Sunday, so pretty soon you'll be back. Full force.
That's right, baby. Next week, Hardy, in the flesh. I'll be there with you.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Whoa,
we'll see how the Super Bowl goes.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, come on, Chris. Depending on what happens in the game and what the conversation is like in the days following, you can understand that, there might be a need to tweak the schedule.
Yeah, this is a week after the AFC. This is a week and a half after the AFC Championship game. There's been plenty of time to talk about the Super Bowl. We're talking about 2 days after the Super Bowl. Let's not rush to conclusions.
See you guys Wednesday.
Oh, boy. No, this could be a problem.
We're not seeing you Wednesday, that's for sure, because that's going to be Andrew Callahan because he can't do Tuesday. And we're not going to see you Tuesday, so I don't know what we're going to do.
Oh, no.
I don't know, Chris, if we'll see you at all next week.
Oh, no. Oh, God. There it is. There it dropped.
Hurtful. Hurtful.
It's not hurtful. It's just the biz, baby.
We'll see.
Start covering the NFL. You come in every week for the whole year.
It's your fault. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, Breer covers the NFL. There's like 2 weeks he doesn't come in. The rest of there's something to talk about every week. There's not the case with the basketball. All right, thank you, Chris.
Later, y'all.
All right, bye. There you go, Chris Forsberg. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have set himself up for that.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have done that. I mean, Adam came in pitching him for Tuesday. I said, "Are you out of your mind?"
Yeah.
I mean, no. This is a week. There's been enough talk. I mean, I understand we're talking about the Super Bowl, but I mean, there's only so much mentally. You're asking us to do 40 hours of talking about one game that hasn't happened yet. The aftermath of the Super Bowl, there is very concrete things there's no more prognoses. There's no more what ifs. It's all has happened and what goes on from here. And that's a very open-ended thing. Then you have the draft, you have free agency, you have players who stays on this team. I mean, the amount of things to break down after that is infinite. In fact, it's my favorite part of the NFL season. Why? Because the team I root for never is involved in any of these things.
Get Forsberg back on the phone. Tell him if the Celtics make the NBA Finals, he can come in that week. Other than that, we'll call you.
Yeah, because this was really the big week, and it wasn't all that interesting anyway. I mean, they just made some move for a big man. I mean, big deal.
Did we even get a chance? I can't remember. Did we? Did Draymond get mentioned at all in that whole Milwaukee Golden State proposal? Because that would be interesting.
Draymond has been mentioned.
Draymond has been mentioned. And
yesterday
he's been asked about
this.
it. Yeah, he's been asked about it, but no concrete what he would be moving and where he'd be going yet, as of yet. All right, we will be back in just a moment. We will have many, many things for you, including Dan Roach at 9.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented.
Countdown to kickoff. 107 hours to go. Are you headed to Frisco early for the big game?
I bet you are.
Are you going to take that Alcatraz tour so you can drop the soap?
I already played this one.
Yeah, hold on.
Would you do that for me?
You're gonna have to fix that immediately. All right, you got to re-rack it.
Countdown to kickoff. 106 hours to go. You want to make this game even more interesting?
Put your money where your mouth is.
Tell the books to take their 4.5 points and stick it up their ass.
How about this?
Alternative final score: Pats 1,000,000, Seahawks nothing. Take that, lib shit.
That's right. It's New England versus everybody, baby.
Yeah.
And just know that Kid Rock will be available. Kid Rock, who looks very good now. I'll tell you, they were showing someone. I think it was Crash Clark compared the way Kid Rock looks now to Buddy Epson on the Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, no. Boy.
And not because of the
good.
hillbilly thing, because
boy.
of their physical similarities. Kid Rock. There was an article in Rolling Stone. In fact, I think Ryan might have told me about it. And this was like a year ago, and it's like just really sad. Like the guy goes to his house, and it's not.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about
And
that.
it's not slamming him. It's not like this thing to like slam Kid Rock. It really isn't. But it's just like the amount of like chemical abuse and like Kid Rock didn't want him to leave at the end, and he was like kind of all alone on this big estate, and he was kind of just like
No,
there by
stay, hang
himself.
out. Let's eat something.
Yeah, he was just kind of, drinking and just being by himself. It seemed kind of like an isolation situation. But he will be doing headlining the alternate headline halftime show that is going on, along with 3 other people I've not heard of.
Yeah, but you know their music when you hear it. Okay, so that's Bottoms Up by the Gilbert fella. There's this woman.
Which I co-sign because at least she says Bible.
Led with that. Very important.
Right.
He's one of the good ones.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Don't kick him out. He's one of the good ones.
It's a song about Darius Rucker.
That's right.
Same little crowd, little bar, little town.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about that is it's novelty. Is that you play that for me, and it's like I don't know if I've ever heard that sound before.
No, that.
Same little crowd, little bar, little
Oh yeah, it's everything my son plays. My son has become quite the connoisseur of horrible country music.
Oh,
yes, he loves it.
And of course, on the alternate halftime show, you've got
People that were there, or like when they're at the that kind of purgatory of their career, like post revival, they're talking, and they're asking Steven about rock and roll, and he says it's 2s and 4s, it's effing, it's bump bump bop bump bump bop, it's like thrusting. The Boston Globe, I have a subscription to the Boston Globe, an online subscription. They couldn't figure out how to get the Sunday paper to my house, which is all just for the best.
you live in that 3rd floor walk up. I don't know how you get it up there either.
Well, that's not fair to the common man now, is it? If it's just going to be a paper for the elites, then I don't think I have time for it anyway. Super Bowl 2026. This is the something that they want people to click on, and I have a theory on it. Super Bowl 2026 commercials see George Clooney, Ben Affleck, and more star-studded big game ads and teasers. To that, I would say they should aggregate the people that click on that and take away their driver's license. It's on the front page of the Boston Globe. And whoever traffics that, whoever voluntarily goes, ooh, commercials, that I would be, and ooh, George Clooney. You can see George Clooney now with your phone literally whenever you want. You could just dial up anything for free, too. I'm sure there's many things on YouTube of George Clooney.
Sure.
I don't know why you would want to see George Clooney in a commercial. I just don't get the Super Bowl commercial thing. It's something that's insisted upon that is another one of these things that I don't know if it truly exists. Have you ever been at a Super Bowl party and people like laugh out loud at the commercials.
Or everyone has to be quiet when the commercials come
Well,
on.
you know that I have, of course, that story of my friend was going to Creative Circus, the ad trade school in Atlanta, and I went to a Super Bowl party, and I was told to hush up. That the commercials were playing, and they said, what if you? Because I was like in radio, they said, what if this guy said, what if we talked while like so the radio guy was talking, and I went. What are you talking about? What if you talked in the car while a DJ was speaking? Oh, I would lose my mind. I would take the wheel and drive us into the nearest object. I'd want you to go through the windshield. I'd kill you. Yeah, in the notion that those commercials were never to be played again, that they would never be seen, that it was one and done, baby. Good luck. Good luck seeing this thing again.
I do wonder about like the marketing strategy of all these ads, and it's not just the Hellman's people who famously now unveiled their commercial at the Patriots fan rally on Monday. Well, we heard that go down. I think we still have
I have
it
it
here.
here.
Yeah.
I can play it for you if you want.
Super Bowl season comes around. Everyone's excited for the football, but a lot of people are also excited for the commercials in between the action. Well, for joining us here today, you get a sneak peek at a Super Bowl commercial that will be airing next Sunday. Thanks to our friends over at Hellman's.
What do you think of it, crowd, huh?
Yay! Show us the Hellman mayonnaise commercial.
But from a marketing perspective, don't you want people glued to the TV to see your commercial for the first time during the Super Bowl?
Which is exactly why this has all started. Remember when this all started? It just occurred to me, was the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial. They made that an event. They made that whole thing an event. Remember, there was like stuff on MTV about there's going to be this Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial. There's going to be this I was pretty little, but there was going to be this.
Right, because you could only see Michael Jackson in the Billie Jean and Beat It videos or whatever, and it's not like he was, there was no other way to see him.
It was the Jackson 5. He had gotten together for that Jackson 5 tour.
The Victory Tour.
The Victory Tour, and it was going to be the Pepsi commercial. I think it's the one his hair caught on fire while they were filming it. And I was a little kid, and then they showed the commercial, and then they showed it a million times on MTV after, like as content. I mean, it was on TV every break on MTV. And I remember being a little kid and going, okay, what do they do? It's the Jackson 5, and then they drink a Pepsi, or a kid throws it to them. Oh, no, it's the one with Alfonso Ribeiro in it, and they're on the street. And he throws the Pepsi to Michael Jackson. Tito's in it. Yeah, the whole crew. And I remember seeing that and go, this is the big deal? You got the kid from Silver Spoons. You guys don't know that deep cut. But Ribeiro at the time had done him and Jason Bateman had been on Silver Spoons. Not stars, but, bit players. And I went, the kid from Silver Spoons is on this? And then that's when my cynicism really started to grow. Probably around age 9. That's when I started to really question who was looking out for us in terms of a marketing perspective. But, that's just me. Danny Roach is in San Francisco. It's 5:59 in the morning. He had requested to come on earlier, for he is now going to be traveling when we talk to him. Sounds like a real fun situation out there. We will talk to him in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the
100 in Dallas. Eastern Conference Player of the Month, Jaylen Brown, 33 points and 11 rebounds. Celtics play again tonight in Houston. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 over on 105.7 WROR. Earlier in the day, Celtics sent Anthony Simons and a second-round pick to Chicago in exchange for 35-year-old big man Nikola Vucevic and a second-round selection. The NBA trade deadline arrives tomorrow. Clippers traded James Harden to Cleveland last night, and Memphis traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah. And the Bruins play their final game before their 3-week break tonight in Florida against the Panthers. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Backup goaltender Jonas Korpisalo added to Team Finland yesterday as an injury replacement for the Winter Olympics. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenheiser Home Services. You could win a new high-efficiency gas furnace from Rodenheiser if your furnace is 10 years or older, outdated, and unreliable. Go to Rodenheiser.com/5 free furnaces to enter. That's Rodenheiser.com/5 free furnaces. No purchase necessary. Rules online. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Every pass, tackle, and of Super Bowl 60 will be heard here.
He tries to get outside. He does. He's got the first down.
The Patriots.
Great man to the knees for the final time.
The Seahawks.
Those are people down the right side. John's almost there. Shot for New England.
Super Bowl 60.
They're headed to Santa Clara.
The home of the AFC champion New England Patriots. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Tell me, how different is this from your first truck drive down to Fort Myers to now?
There's a lot more attention now.
What's the privilege like now for you to drive this?
What's the what now?
How much of a privilege is it for you?
I enjoy this a lot. This is the year, every year, you know.
Well, let's hope it is. Now, safe travels and have a good time.
Rocket science. Rocket science. Rocket science.
We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. If you would like to download our podcast, as well as any podcast of the shows on this station, you can do that wherever you normally do. You know, we have a lot of guests on this show, but how many guests, Hardy, can we say are buddies with a Super Bowl coach? And you have evidence of this, Adam. You got to put him up. Adam, you got to put him up. Okay, not him.
My
Hardy.
board, my computer.
All right.
Morning, Mike.
Hey, buddy.
That's right.
Look at that.
Dan Roach is buddies with Mike Vrabel.
Wow.
Danny Roach, hello.
Hi, fellas. Freddie, John, Hardy. How you doing? Morning.
I like how you put John before Hardy.
Yeah, that was
Oh, sorry. Hi, Fred, Hardy, John.
Yeah, that's usually the way that it would go.
Better.
How's San Francisco?
I don't know. That's a good question, Fred. It's a very spread out here at Super Bowl 60. So we flew to San Francisco on Saturday. We went live with our news on the rooftop of our CBS affiliate and had a beautiful look overlooking the bay and what have you. And then we left, and we came here to San Jose and Santa Clara. So it's about a 45-mile drive from downtown San Francisco, where the Fan Fest and a lot of things are going on, and where Radio Row is. We're out near the team there in Santa Clara. We're in San Jose, and it's been fun. It's been a great time. I've had a really good time this time. Very enjoyable team, very enjoyable hotel, nice, good restaurants, all good.
Yeah, restaurants. Where have you been eating?
Went to a place called Whispers for a really good brunch the other day. It was delicious. A little California omelet, which was nice, and then been to a couple Mexican restaurants. So everything's been great.
Roachy, you have your culinary palate is expanding greatly as you head out west.
It's a new me, Freddie. You know, gone are the days of Chili's and Applebee's everywhere I go. You know, once in a while I'll do the OG and get the unlimited breadsticks and salad and the chicken parm. You can't go wrong there. But other than that, it's I'm trying to branch out a little bit as I go to these different cities.
I'm looking at Whispers Cafe
That's the
right now.
first thing I looked at when he said it.
Downtown San Jose, and let me tell you something. He is not.
There's nothing
branching
that's
out
changed
at
It's-
all.
It's
This
another
is-
Applebee's locally. That's all it is.
Chicken and waffles, club sandwich,
burgers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, You don't think that Danny made a deal with the head honcho at Whispers that he was going to give him some mentions?
It's like 2 levels
Danny,
down
you
from a
caught me.
Panera.
Seriously, Danny, what are you doing?
You outed me. You outed me. Sorry, John. Sorry, Hardy.
All right. Well, these guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is a guy who gets free Slurpees on his birthday.
That's right. Yeah.
Which happens to be on this July 11th.
Dan, you had a fun moment standing out there with Steve Burton the other night. Tell us the story, would you please? That was cute.
Yeah, so, you guys know Stevie's the mayor of everywhere.
Sure.
And we were just standing outside the opening night in front of the San Jose Convention Center, and we were ready to go live, and some young lady walked by and said, "Are you Steve Burton?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I love your daughter, Veronica. She's awesome."
It's your story, and you told it wrong.
Oh.
She walked by and said, "Are you Veronica's dad?"
Oh, yes, that was the way to put it. Sorry, Hardy.
Jesus.
So, which was really cool because it was one of those moments where, Steve, I'm like, you're nobody anymore, which is like a great moment as a dad where people,
I don't think
used to say, people used to say, "You Tori's dad," all the time to me. So same thing with Veronica. So it was really cool. She's on billboards out here. You'll see Steph Curry on one and she's on the other because she's playing for the WNBA Golden State Valkyrie. So it's pretty cool.
Will they throw that?
A 2 for billboard situation, a BOGO?
A little bit different dynamic. One of the biggest stars in sports and then a WNBA player. I'm questioning the value of the billboard.
Big star, though. Someone walked by and identified Steve Burton as, "Hey, are you Veronica's dad?" And it was caught on camera.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need my kids usurping me. I don't need that in my life. No, thank you. No, thank you. They know that they need to know their place. So, you're around national, international media. What are the thoughts on the game? 4.5 point favorite Seahawks, but a lot of people I hear talking about this game, a lot of analysts are A, saying it's going to be very close, or B, saying that Vrabel is the difference. Vrabel is a genius, and that they like the Patriots in this game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying because Seattle, and I think if you look, especially in the second half of the season, Seattle was the best team in football. And I go back to the records against other teams that have made the playoffs. I think the Patriots were 2-2 against teams that had made the playoffs after the regular season. The Seahawks were 6-2. So they've played a lot of good teams. Their schedule has been tough. They're the number 1 seed. But then I just saw some stat that 15 of the last 26 number 1 seeds in a Super Bowl that played the number 2 or lower seed in the Super Bowl lost. So I don't know. Have at it, what you will. I'll tell you how I feel after thinking about it on the plane ride and just kind of being around this team. You guys might think I'm crazy, but I just have a feel about this particular Patriots football team that it's just a unique team. It's team in every sense of the word, which I love, and I've watched them blossom in front of my eyes. From day one of training camp all the way through, they just seem to have an it factor of a championship team. They remind me of like the 04 Red Sox. They remind me of like the 11 Bruins and then the recent Celtics championship team. When the Celtics won that championship, I thought going into the playoffs, they kind of were good. And then I kept finding them having a belief as they got better and better and better. And I thought when they went on to that championship series and were playing in the finals, I thought they were much, much better than the Dallas Mavs. I don't think the Patriots are much better than the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're probably even or maybe a little bit below in some areas of talent. But I just think that they're a really good team, and I think they're going to find a way to win this thing. That's kind of how I feel about them. I don't know how you guys feel.
Well,
but
I think a better I think
different.
a better comp than the 04 Red Sox would be the 03-04 Pistons. A real team, Dan.
That is true. They beat a Lakers team with Shaq and Kobe. Now, Dan, that's
a little sarcasm there, Hardy.
No,
I think he was actually making a parallel. I think that's John laughed for no reason, which I think made you think he was being sarcastic.
No, I laughed
but there
because,
wasn't.
of course, Hardy would bring up Detroit. That's why I laughed.
I think it's the most apt.
Thank you, Fred.
I do. I mean, that was a team that beat a team with 2 massive stars, and they were starless. I guess Richard Hamilton was kind of a star, and Chauncey Billups was okay, but now he's a criminal. All right, so, okay, granted, all that could be true. This is just what I'm asking. and because I'm going to follow this up with something else. Why isn't Seattle like that then? Like I get it. Like the Patriots are this team, but
you could have just described Seattle. In many ways.
I mean, why is Seattle not that way?
Well, my opinion is that I think that they came together here, the Patriots, with a lot of unknowns, right? Rookies and what have you.
Well, so did Seattle, Dan. They had a quarterback that had never been on the team, that had been labeled a loser his whole career.
Do you mind if I finish?
No, I don't mind. Go ahead. By all means, finish.
Get him, Dan. Get him.
Yeah, I don't like you in San Francisco. You're much meaner. All right,
sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't like West Coast Roachy.
This is a new experience.
No, because I'm getting. It's not Dan.
No, I get
it's
what
just
you're
I'm
saying,
getting
Fred.
kind of. I'm just like, well, then what is Seattle? All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
But I just think that Seattle was good towards the end of last season. You know what I mean? And I thought that they needed a quarterback, and they went out and got the best quarterback available in Darnold, who we watched with Minnesota, and then have a hiccup in the playoffs. He's better than that now. So you might be right there, Fred, from the sense of what they are. But I just think this particular team, a lot of rookie free agents, young, they had the right exact free agents come together, and then they had the perfect coach to put them in the spot, in the position to become a team, and then watching them come together. Now, you could say that. You're right about any championship team.
Well, no, you could just say it about Seattle. It's the second-year coach who's put it together. I mean, okay, but I'm not arguing your point about the Patriots.
First-year coach with a quarterback that took a leap to the MVP status, and then fit every single free agent signing checked off a box.
Right.
Every draft pick checked off a box.
Sure.
And they all came together, overcame a lot of adversity amongst themselves, and believed. So I think it's just different from that way.
Okay, fair enough. And I in fairness, I don't doubt anything you said about the Patriots. It's all true. But one thing I do want to discuss with you is there's this notion, incorrectly so, that Darnold, is apt to fall apart. Okay, and that that the Patriots have the advantage at quarterback. But I do challenge that, and I will explain why. Is because the narrative that Darnold is this choke artist is true, but would you rather have the guy who's failed and overcame all that to have this season and perform the way he did in the playoffs, or a kid in his second year? So that's an honest question.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, and I think, obviously the quarterback is a huge part of this. I think the advantage that the Patriots have in this situation is Josh McDaniels. And I think that there was a clip of Tom Brady out on the Colin Cowherd show where he was just saying that him and Josh were up game planning and changed the game plan the night before the Super Bowl on a Friday against Seattle, and they came up with a bunch of different plays because Tom wasn't comfortable with the red zone.
Let's give that to Tom. But I could also counter that Seattle's offensive coordinator is now going to be a head coach. Look, I think the Patriots could easily win the Super Bowl, but it's just like that all these advantages to the Patriots that are given to the Patriots, and I don't doubt the Patriots could win this game. I really don't. And Vrabel has done a fantastic job. One of the best jobs I've ever seen. And May looks like outside of the playoffs, looks like a total stud. But it's just like all these reasons for the Patriots winning. I kind of am like, well, you could say the same thing about almost the exact same thing about Seattle. And I was asking you honestly because I don't know. I my own thoughts about it, but I don't know if it's, and I've heard other people question this too. I don't know if it's fair to say the Patriots have the advantage at quarterback this game. Now, do the Patriots have the advantage at quarterback for the totality of these gentlemen's careers? Yes. But this game, I don't know, because if the pressure would get to Darnold, why wouldn't the pressure get to May? You understand what I'm saying?
I completely understand what you're going to say. So I think that's going to be the question mark going in. How good can Drake May be from Drake May, the MVP candidate, going against another top-ranked defense in the NFL? That's where I think Josh comes in to help him. And it may be, and again, Fred, I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm not saying I'm not even making predictions. I'm just countering.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying you've said anything wrong either. I'm just saying
But I
that these
also
same
think
things
that-
you could say about Seattle.
And here's what I'll say. I think if you look at the vulnerability of the Seattle Seahawks, it's up the middle. And I think what we've seen since he came back, especially, is the difference maker in Milton Williams, who could have arguably been the MVP of the Super Bowl last year. So I think that they match up from that perspective with Ken Darnold withhold or stay away from the pressure of Milt Williams and Barmore and company underneath. Now, for a question for me, can he get around the stunts and the different things that the front four do for Seattle? That'll be part of the battle, And I think there's a reason why the Patriots in their last Super Bowls have scored 3 points total in the first quarter. So I don't think either team's going to jump out to a big lead or even a lead. It just may be a feeling out period, and it might go back and forth. And I think the good thing about it is no matter what happens, Drake's getting an experience in his second year as the second youngest quarterback to play in this league. So you're right, Fred. I just think that Drake really has been good out here, and I know, Fred, you don't like his press conferences during the regular season.
I didn't say that.
I understand sometimes how he speaks gibberish and things like that. He sat down with Steve Burton for All Access Saturday night. Even here, he's speaking again today. He's very relaxed. He's very comfortable, and I think this might be here we go with Drake May, the MVP type of quarterback. So
yes, of course that could happen. Absolutely, of course that could happen. First of all, you're very out of breath.
Sorry.
What are you? Are they making you walk or something?
I thought you walk into the tent that the players are available in.
I thought you were in a walking club. Why is this so taxing on you?
No, I'm fine. I'm all good. I'm not breathing heavy anymore. Sorry.
All right. What time did you get up this morning?
Me about 4:00 out here.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
All right.
So I'm trying to because we're on East Coast time, so we have 11 o'clock news at night and everything else. So I'm pretty much going by East Coast time out here,
right?
Which is fine with me. Morning.
What?
So.
Who are you saying good morning to?
Security guy.
There's a dog.
Oh, okay. Right.
What just happened?
A golden retriever just came up to him.
Have you been on since you and I took that elevator ride down and there was a contractor coming down and the guy said, he got on and you said, good morning. And the guy said, good morning, how you doing? And you said, oh, pretty good. I had to get up early this morning, but now I'm on my way down to Gillette. I said, Dan, it was a rhetorical question. The guy said, how you doing? Just as a way to say hello.
He's a happy guy.
No, you sound like my wife. You sound like my wife. She does the same thing. Stop talking to everybody. So.
Oh, that sounds
So,
almost abusive. All right.
No.
I'm just kidding. All right, Dan. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. Have a great time at the Super Bowl. I hope all your predictions come true. And enjoy all the homelessness. Enjoy that.
And might I add, thanks. And might I add, Fred, that we have a bunch of shows.
Yes.
On WBZ and TV 38 all the way through, including a game day show from 11:30 to 1 on Super Bowl Sunday as well on WBZ. So looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, Danny.
All right, fellas. Enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. Fred, Hardy, and John.
Thank you for getting the order correct. All right.
See you, fellas.
Thank you.
See you, Dan.
I like how Dan's like, I know you don't like Drake May's press conferences. Like, all right, Dan.
Do you mind if I finish?
that was one of those record scratch moments. What did he just say?
But like when someone prefaces something like, I had time to think about it on the plane, and you're like, oh. Like, I wonder what, like, he crunched the numbers and what he came up with. And he's like, this is a team that's become a team.
Well,
and you're like,
I was thinking about it on the plane, and I think they've got something.
Right. Like, it's like that took you 6 hours to come up with. You think they got something? Because
they've got it.
Because there's games like, Jesus, like when Chicago played, who killed Chicago? Denver. Like, there's games where someone's got a distinct advantage, and you're like, okay, it's going to take a lot. And then you might have said to that Chicago team, look, they've shocked everyone this far, and da-da-da-da-da. But these are two teams that were both long shot Super Bowl. He's acting like Seattle was this, heavy favorite coming into the season. I think they were 60-1, and the Patriots were 80-1. So this is the longest odds Super Bowl between the two teams. If you had picked them as a matchup, I believe, in Super Bowl history. So it's just when he prefaced it by going, I thought about this on the plane. I thought he was going to actually have something instead of just like they weren't supposed to be good and they're good. And then he's like, well, Josh McDaniels is like, oh, Super Bowl experience? No, he's a good offensive coordinator. And you're like, well, Seattle's got a good forget it.
This is the 10th Super Bowl for Josh McDaniels.
That is a good point. That would have been a good point. Josh McDaniels, I believe that his Josh McDaniels' his experience in Super Bowl
knows how to keep his cool in pressure situations.
Exactly.
Like the
This
one
is
that's
not
going to
overwhelm him. This guy's already, even if you made the argument, this guy in Seattle, he's thinking about his next job, like da-da-da-da-da. Like all that is at least something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, boy, these guys really seem to like each other. Well, how do you know Seattle all hates each other? If you're going to give all these as your points, then I love Seattle in the game because they're better. I mean, Jesus Christ! If it just comes down to like the
intangibles and the gut feeling about a team that's not supposed to be there but is, then you give it to Seattle.
Yeah, then I'll give it to the team with the better roster.
Yeah, I'd rather if I'm going to talk myself into a Patriots win, I'd rather focus on the coach and the quarterback.
That's the thing, and you can't lose sight of the fact that we've had multiple guys tell us this in the last week. Seattle has the better roster. It's inarguable.
No, they do.
Seattle has the better roster.
And the only reason I asked that question is to set up the Sam Darnold question. I wasn't even didn't even want an answer to that.
We've had Mike Reese came on Monday morning.
No. Seattle's got a better roster.
Coach and quarterback are all you can focus on if you're the Patriots.
Absolutely.
If you're a Patriots fan.
No, Seattle's got a better roster. There's no question. All right, we'll be back in just one moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sport.
Because it's a thing.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
It is the email segment, and I can assure you, because we're about to take a phone call from Mike, the Duck Boat News guy.
Oh, good.
That this commercial is not out to scam old people. But if you've been scammed or you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Our bid is powered by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. Don't just send an email. Call all sevens at 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. You can email us. Go to 985thesportshub.com. To find our email addresses, you can find us on social media at Toucher and Hardy, at Hardy985, and only on Instagram. Instagram only. At Fred Toucher. I do not have access to Twitter. I do not look at it. Mike, hello, Mike.
Hello, my friends. First of all, I had to take a stop of eating Hellman's mayonnaise by the jar since this past Sunday to call in, so thanks for the break from that.
Yes.
But you guys are talking about the commercials, the Super Bowl commercials especially. Half the time, I don't even know what the brand is. It's like... It's just trying to be funny. It's trying to be a funny skit. It's almost like trying to take advantage of old people the way they call and say, like, you want a cruise that Hardy apparently cashed in on last week over the phone. I don't really understand how they spend so much money where half the time you don't even know what the brand is. And speaking of commercials, I have a show at the MGM in Springfield this Friday and Saturday, and everyone should go.
You're headlining?
No, featuring.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. Thank you, Mike.
What? No, wait. What? Come back.
Well, you got your plug. Adam says, mind if I finish, which Dan Roach famously just said. Sounds exactly like Roachy would say while sitting in a chair in the corner while John is being suffocated by a luscious rum.
Do you mind if I finish?
Well, before you guys do.
Jay says Dan Francisco is aggressive. West Coast Roachy doesn't play around. That is very true. And then there's a bunch of blind Scots.
A lot of blind Scots.
This is from Don. I had to recently stop telling people one of the best live shows I'd ever seen, along with the Clash at the Orpheum a year later, was Ted Nugent. As they'd act as immediately as if I stormed the Capitol on January 6th. You were not alone. Ted Nugent in the late 70s was his live performances were very influential for a lot of bands that became very famous. He was considered one of the best live performers in the world. Now, I missed him because he was opening for Kiss on their reunion tour in the early aughts. Or late maybe it was 99. It was in Atlanta. And wouldn't you know, like, they said the show started at like 6:30. The show started at 6:30. Like, Nugent was on stage at like 6:30.
Right.
They weren't messing around. Like, Nugent came on. So by the time I got there, it was over. But he would put on a different guitar at the end of his set. So you knew nothing was fishy about it. Like a cheaper guitar. And then he would take it off and it would float to the heavens. And he would take out a flaming bow and arrow and he would shoot it. And then it would become engulfed in flames.
See, I've never seen that. I've seen the deer decoy at one end of the stage, and I've seen him shoot that with an arrow.
Yeah.
Not in person, mind you. Never been that lucky.
Oh. Yeah, I
think he does that during Fred Bear.
Yeah. One of the only times I listened to WRIF is they kept teasing the Fred Bear, the song Fred Bear, Ted Nugent. He was in studio. It was like an hour of Arthur P. and Ted Nugent. I was trapped in the car with someone. And Fred Bear, Fred Bear, Fred Bear. And then they played Fred Bear, and I went, dear Lord.
Yeah, not
We've
great.
played that on the air before here. Not good. Not good.
So have you seen any of the highway signs up, the digital signs lately?
We mentioned the Warrior one.
Yeah. And I don't think John mentioned this on the air.
No.
Who do you believe is in charge of those signs?
The wild card, Fred. Marshall Hook.
Really?
He works for Mass DOT now.
Is he? Can he do that and be a selectman and all his other duties?
Apparently, yes.
Really? So Marshall Hook
He's one of the 3 people in charge of those signs. Apparently, there are 3 sayings that rotate sign-wide all across the state. That's one of them, and he had some input.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know him.
Yes.
Like equals.
It's pretty rare.
That's pretty rare. So he is the guy that does the highway signs. So has he taken credit, is what you're saying?
No, he just texted during the show after we had talked about this and
okay.
said, "You're welcome for the highway signs. Love, Mass DOT Communications."
Gotcha. We were talking about the Felger rant in San Francisco.
You were talking about off air, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somebody wanted to know, since I was talking about the unhomed people there and what the PC term was. Adam 12, serious question. Is there any PC term or topic that you do not adhere to?
Oh, it's a good one. Well, I mean, it's all contextual, right? Like, it all depends on who you're with and what you're talking about. And
if he's having a microbrew with the boys, up in Maine,
when me and
anything
Peter
goes.
King sit
He
down
might
and
let
have
Native
one single
Americans slip
microbrew.
instead of saying indigenous.
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah, he might be one step behind. Right.
Yeah.
But it's good to have Adam here because he would be able to catch it. Because Adam is he's encyclopedic knowledge of the rapidly lexicon and how that changes.
Yes. It evolves quickly.
It does. It evolves too quickly.
Yeah.
It's unfair
No, I
almost.
agree.
And it's
I
well,
agree.
in fairness to Adam,
It shouldn't be unfair.
Adam does allow grace for ignorance, and ignorance meaning that just the non-knowledge. And then you have to let that, even when you have the knowledge, you got to give that some time to sink in.
Which you should practice anyway. You should that should be the approach that people take.
Well, that was a big misstep by some people where they would not allow that even room for ignorance or room for mistakes, and that ended up biting them pretty badly in the ass.
Yep.
Biting my big bare
bottom butt and balls and back.
Shannon wanted us to know, with all the talk about the Warriors, I didn't know if you guys knew Lin-Manuel Miranda came out with a Warriors concept album. It was released in late 2024. He was rumored to be planning a stage musical, but thought better of it, and the album would work with a mix of artists, a lot of hip-hop acts, but also some more Broadway-like songs. It is pretty good. I thought you guys might like to know.
Has any of you ever seen
We shall
Hamilton?
investigate.
Yes, indeed. Have any of you seen Hamilton?
No.
Or like seen anything from Hamilton?
I've seen it on
The soundtrack ad nauseum, and it is insufferable.
I've only seen just like the costumes, and I'm obviously aware of who he is and that he wrote that and that this was a sensation. I have not heard one note of it, but I can't imagine it's not incredibly cringe-inducing.
It's so corny.
Yes, that's the whole thing.
So corny.
Like anything where it's like a play with rap, that just sounds like that's not going to be very good to me. And I don't discredit anyone for falling into it and enjoying the sensation that was. And I loved him on the Oh Hello podcast.
I was just going to say, and it's not in his episode, but in the teaser for the whole season, episode 1, where they're talking about what's going to be coming up on the podcast over these 8 episodes, whatever it is. And they said, and we'll be joined by Lin-Manuel Miranda. He goes, yes, well, this time when I was in Puerto Rico, and they go, oh boy, here we go.
I don't know what he's saying, but it seems like a call to arms to me.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Someone else wanted you to know, Fred, that Oliver Stone did write the screenplay for Scarface. He also came to the set early in the production, but he annoyed Brian De Palma so much he was asked to not come back.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be something that could easily happen.
And that Steven Spielberg also directed and got some uncredited work. He directed the machine gun shootout and the rocket launcher scene on the stairs in Tony's mansion.
I don't remember the rocket launcher scene.
Well, that's when he blasts through the door. That's Say Hello to My Little Friend. I think so. That's Say Hello to My Little Friend.
That's called a rocket launcher?
He blasts away. It's like a grenade launcher.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I thought he had a machine gun. At
So
that
did
point.
I. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he said, "Say hello to my little friend."
It's a
and then he
big
goes,
blast out of something. I don't know.
No, but I thought he went.
Yeah, he lit up the room. That wasn't a grenade.
No,
launcher.
say hello to my little friend, and it's one big bang. He blows the door open with something. Yes, John, I'm sure.
You want to hear my impression? Say hello to my little friend. Nailed it. Nailed it again, Freddie. Good job. Man of 1,000 voices.
Do some more.
Say hello to my little friend. You didn't say nothing about killing, okay? See, I can do it.
It's really good.
It's on the nose. Tough to do.
Can Craig Gass do Al Pacino as Scarface?
No, but he can do anyone that was married to anyone on the cast of Roseanne.
Yeah.
He can do that at a moment's notice. All right, we will be back in just one moment to steer the ship to shore.
Essential Sports Hub headline.
within 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. John in the headlines mentioned that the Jets have hired offensive whiz kid Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator. Would you like to hear what Rich Cimini put on Instagram under a photo of Frank Reich?
Yeah.
Done deal. The Jets have hired Frank Reich as their new offensive coordinator. He will be their 12th play caller in a 16-year span. He seems like the Steve Wilkes, who was their defensive coordinator last year. Hire in reverse, an experienced former head coach taking controls of one side of the ball. If it fizzles like the Wilkes hired, they'll all be fired. So there you go.
As opposed to this last year where everyone was fired but Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, they'll all be fired. Like, meaning Glenn and everyone will be fired.
Okay.
But that's what that organization needs to do. They need a top-down clean-out. Coaching coordinators. It's been a while.
Yeah, they fired both their coordinators, their quarterbacks coach, their special teams coach is still in the building. They had very good special teams last year. But Frank Reich is an inspiring hire, and he can coach the zero quarterbacks, the literal zero quarterbacks they'll have on their roster once they cut Fields. Who was even, I thought Fields might be an NFL caliber quarterback, but they threw that right in my face.
Well, the media onslaught continues there in San Francisco, and yesterday we got this audio from a reporter speaking with a man who we've decided to just call JSM, but Jackson Smith in Jigba. He says he's got a way of referring to him as something other than JSN.
Jackson, do you have any nicknames in the locker room? And if not, may I recommend one?
You can recommend one.
The Emerald City Route Artist.
Nice. That's pretty nice. It's long, but it's nice.
It's a little. You can shorten it to ECRA.
You're a grown man. You wrote that down. You got your time with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you decided to float your nickname idea to him. The Emerald City Route Artist.
It's just, I don't know the point of going to the media day anymore to do stuff like that. It's not novel anymore. And they're like ready for it too. They've been coached like, look, there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be asking weird questions. Just roll with it. So it's not even like shocking anymore. There's really no reason to do that. There really isn't. When Jimmy Kimmel's guy's failing,
yeah,
like, I mean, that's, they got, $100 million behind them. I mean, if that's failing, it's time to pack it up.
Well, it's time to get even more ready for this big game. Zolak and Bertrand are getting ready to go. We're getting closer.
Countdown to kickoff. 105 hours to go. I got boots on the ground telling me that Drake May is carbo loading
For the big game.
thanks to his lovely wife. She's got what it takes to bake those cakes. Sourdough is the only way to go.
Take that, lib shit.
I don't know why he's going after Liv Shats now twice in a row. But
something happened.
Is that twice in a row?
Yeah. It's for the betting angle and now for the sourdough.
Two of them have words recently?
I don't know. Nick is getting very personal in some of these.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed. Drake May's wife is a sensation. Did she just have a kid?
No.
No, they don't have a kid.
No. They just got married this past summer.
But they've known each other since 7th grade, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I was reading this thing about couples figure skating like people that have gotten married after being figure skating couples. Now, half of them, it's just a beard situation, but the other half, like these Russian couples, weird. Like, been skating since they were 10.
Yeah.
So it's basically just like if you were on an island with just one person of the opposite sex, like you're pretty much just destined to be married. Like they were like put in a situation where like this is the only option. This is the only option.
Oh, I like this.
It's very soulful. It's for fast credits, soulful song.
Mm-hmm.
Slow credits, fast song. We'll catch you up to speed. I mean, unless you're WKRP and you end with a raucous jam, you can do that as well. All right, that'll do it for us. There will be no crossover today because only McCone's been sitting there. I see a nice coffee where Beetle sits. Oh, here they come. But it's too late. You sons of bitches.
You blew it.
Oh, now look at Bertrand. He's too cool to sit down. He's wandering around making noise.
Oh, Zolak's got his snot rag. He goes through so many Kleenexes that.
And by the way, he's not blowing his nose. He's wiping his face.
Well,
which is good at 9:55.
It's not good.
No.
Thank God there's
What's
a
hot? They're in California. It's steamy.
Thank God there's a bathroom nearby. That's all I can say.
Indoor, yeah. When you're wiping off the flop sweats,
Not
5
good.
minutes before the show, not great. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone, have a great.